Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live. Another episode, episode 31. Welcome to the Elite Podcast. We are here. My brother, Big Bro, Kevin Tegan Shepherd, the voice coach T.
The
Well,
voice is
good.
back, man. The voice is back. Mumba. Man, I missed last week, man. And my apologies to all the people who was really tuning in to hear myself and Beanie Pang. By the way, happy birthday to our brother, belated. His birthday was yesterday. Beanie
Yes,
Pang, you're
sir.
large, 40, whatever, but you're still looking like 20. Keep staying
That's
young.
true.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how we live in Virgo rules. As you can see in the bottom, Virgo rules. My birthday coming up soon in a
I
couple
don't know
weeks.
about that.
Yeah. Burger run things, you know what I'm saying? All the burgers out there. Happy birthday. I wish we weren't under COVID so we could have really celebrate my 41st birthday, which is gonna be very special to me. Obviously, 41 is my number. This year I'm gonna be 41. Got a week and a half left. It's on, bro.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's gonna be a special day for you for real, man. I know how passionate you are about that number, man. About that number, so it's gonna be good, man. I know you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Can't wait.
You
Can't.
might own a new nickname after your birthday.
I'm just praying for no hurricane because you know the 17, 18, and 19 are notorious for these hurricanes to be popping up. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true.
Please pop up after the 17, please.
Hey, I feel you, brother. I feel you. Trust me.
Yeah,
You want
that's how it
everything to
goes,
go
man.
smooth.
That's how it goes.
Yeah,
So
man.
it's our love, man. It's on, and it's so great to be back. Give you an intro.
Yeah, yeah.
First of all, I apologize to my soccer guy. What's his name? Because I didn't get to see the show. I was so caught up last week. I didn't
Hayden
even get a chance
Wills.
to watch it. Hayden, Mr. Wills.
Yeah.
I promise I'm gonna watch the show because soccer was my first sport. I am so extremely upset that I wasn't there to ask you a lot of soccer questions. It was supposed to be our soccer moment,
Yeah,
but I'm
man.
still very proud of you. And hopefully we can get him back on, right? For like 30 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I would love to get back at Tiga. Honestly, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know me. You got to be out when he's on, man. This man, his history, his memory, his dad and his mom kind of laid the foundation, and teaching the history of soccer and stuff, man. And like he was talking about your dad, he was talking about your uncle. Like it was amazing. He was talking about unique, the times when he
Wow.
was playing
Yeah.
soccer.
He's in my stomping ground. I definitely,
Yeah,
man.
man. He
I miss that.
remember you when you guys was rolling down the hill and all kind of stuff. Like and his man. I don't want to really he has some good stories, man. And he been around, man, playing soccer and stuff like that. It was amazing. I was in
Man,
awe.
it's crazy.
It was a great episode, man. It was a great episode. A lot of good stuff
Yeah,
he was
we gotta
talking.
get it back on for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, I
At
would
least
love to get him back on, man. I would definitely love
because
to
he
get back
probably
on.
will know the young Tegan before anybody even knew
Yeah.
me. Because soccer was my first sport, period. I didn't even really take basketball seriously until 8th grade in Elena.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, I was just playing soccer. And then finally I tried basketball 8th grade, and that was it. But
That was it, yeah.
I never really cared much for basketball when I was growing up. So
he
that was
he said he wasn't shocked how good he wasn't shocked that you was playing professional basketball because he knew how talented you was since you was a kid. That's what he said, man. You know,
See,
so
now you really get me mad now that I missed
dude,
this.
I'm telling you, man, the stories he had, man, and the experiences and the places he played, man, like Jamaica, Panama, Mexico. Um, he played in international down in he had a story was in Colombia, like a lot of places, man. And talking about the soccer stadiums, he had he had the team when he was playing with a lot of Haitians and stuff. It was amazing, man.
I wonder if he was on the team when we went to Haiti. I was on the national team when we went to Haiti. I was probably around 15. Haiti beat
yeah,
us like 5 or 6-2, and I scored 2 goals. I don't know if he was on that team.
he might, yeah, probably not, but it was good, man. It was good. and his knowledge, man, and just his the way how he was talking, like he relays the message of soccer and stuff, and he did a lot of coaching and talking to kids and stuff. He live up here in Tampa. So
Okay, okay. Well, Mr.
yeah,
Wills,
man.
big up to you, man. Like I said, my apology. I got caught up in some things that I totally forget that I was supposed to do with some friends and family. And man, this weekend just catch me by surprise. But
Yeah, man. Hey, you're a busy guy, man. So I know how it is, man. Trust me, I know how it is.
yeah.
You all over the place. You do so
But
much. You do so
we
much
back
stuff.
now, man. We back and we're ready for another episode. Like we said, these things are flying out to the hot cakes. Um, give you shout outs and let me get to it because we're about to learn the history of baseball in the
Yeah,
Virgin Islands.
I
Don't
can't
miss
wait.
this one. Let all the baseball fans know this. Let all the basketball fans, let all Virgin Islands tune in tonight because we're gonna have a very, very special guest tonight. So
Yeah,
Mumbai,
history,
without further
history.
ado, do your thing.
Okay, so first shout out to all the viewers that's tuning in right now. Big up to everybody. Big up to everybody commenting. Much love to everybody. Marvin, I see you. My neighbor, Marvin. Big up, big up. Much love to you, brother, your family, and everybody, and your brothers and your sisters. So we got the legends340.com, legends340.com. We have Savory Eats LLC, based in Orlando by Sheena Fontaine. We got the Good Life Apparel, Good Life Apparel. We got Andrea, follow her, Melty Pot Cooking Class, and that's our Instagram, Melty Pot Cooking Class, and that's our Instagram, also meltypotcookingclass.com. We have Sabone Caribbean Restaurant. We got Apollo Legion. We got also follow on Instagram, Island Destiny 340 Serenity Braids by Nikki. We also got Rico Canario. Follow his website at www.lul.com/spotlight/R Canario. We got Right Way Service Station located in Princess next to Avis. We got Paris Enterprise. Big up to Dave. Paris Enterprise. Also follow on Facebook, Livewire Sports. Livewire Sports. Follow on Facebook. They always live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. We also have Midnight Entertainment. Big up to Frenchie. His artists have a new single, Bring Out the City, out on iTunes now, Apple Music. You guys got to support. We got Next Level Up Printing. We also got OliviaDesir.com. OliviaDesir.com. We got Bubbles Promotion. Big up to Cuz. We also got Brino's Kitchen. And also shout out to Mona Barnes as well. Follow our Facebook at City of Refuge Worship Center. They always live stream every Sunday at 10 a.m. And that's on Facebook. Also, last but not least, but don't forget the VI Legends, and that's our YouTube page at VI Legends, v.i.legends. All episodes are there. All previous episodes are there, and we are also live streaming there right now as we speak. So big up to everybody back home, all the locals, doing their own business and so much love to you guys as everybody try to support your family and everybody. So big up Al Baptiste, big up to you. So yeah, man, Tegan. So we on and we rolling. First, anything you want to touch on the playoffs before we get our guessing?
But I must say, before even a playoff, you did that introduction so smooth, dude. You are really getting good at this. I ain't even look. I know we always giving each other compliment, Mumbai. You're
Yeah.
really getting superb at this. I am
Thank
so
you, man.
proud of you. You don't even know how proud I am of you that you
I
even
know.
came up with this idea. And now you are taking it so professional. You have your mic going, your headphone going. I mean, great job for you, man. Kudos, man. You right now. You are my hero, dude. You are my hero. So,
Hey, appreciate
lot
you
of love
telling
to
me
you.
that, man.
You're doing a good
Thank
job.
you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. You already know, man. You inspire me. You don't know. From since complex days, you know how we go.
You
So,
know
man,
it
I
is.
appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely appreciate it, man, from the bottom of my heart, man. Much love to you, brother.
Love
Appreciate that,
always.
man. You know what I'm
In
saying?
terms of the
So,
playoff, I've been watching. I've been dissecting the games. I've been watching, and it's just a foregone conclusion. I can't wait to see Lakers and Clippers meet. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, Denver is gonna give Clippers a run, though. I ain't gonna tell no lie. And if I'm gonna give a reality check to whoever teams that we like, I think Lakers is playing better than Clippers, in my opinion. I think they play harder. I think they play more together. I think they take the game a little bit more seriously than the Clippers. I think the Clippers are much more talented. You can see it out there. When they decide to play, they will blow you out the water. But for some reason, I think the Clippers are drinking the Kool-Aid before they actually want anything. And I think that's a very dangerous thing, especially playing in the bubble where anybody can show up on any day because ain't got no external fans, ain't got no pressure, ain't got no differences with the arena. Somebody who you don't even think about can pretty much show up and jab 30 on you and you would never expect it. So I think the Clippers need to find a little bit more focus in terms of playing every possession like it's the last. I see that with the Lakers, and I see the Lakers right now is a tad better in terms of playing as a team. In terms of the East, there's only one team I see in the East, Boston. And if Boston doesn't come out the East, it's nobody in the East can beat none of those LA teams, in my opinion. I'm not being biased. I'm just telling you what I see in the film. It's not impossible. I'm just trying to when you just watch them play, I think Boston is the only team who stacks up well. They play well defensively. They got good guards. They got good wing guards, two guards and threes on the wings. Their bigs are very interchangeable. They have a young dude in there that can jump out the gym. Plus Tice. I mean, this guy's a monster.
Yeah,
I mean, Boston is loaded.
They're loaded.
So I won't
they still
say
got Kant on the bench too, man. They still got Kant on the bench.
He can't even get in the game. So you have to watch out for Boston. And you know, this year kind of remind me of that year when everybody was talking about Lakers and I forgot what team it was. No, that year when Lakers was playing back then, it was Lakers with Karl Malone and all those guys. And I think they played the Spurs. Somebody can look it up. I don't remember. But everybody was so sure that whoever win the West was going to win the championship until Detroit came and spoiled the whole party. This year is reminding me the same thing. Nobody's talking about none of the East team them, but you better watch out for Boston. That's all I'm saying. That team, you're going to have to beat that team. That team is for real.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
So, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, man. I always catch it late, but you to be on Facebook breaking down the game, and it's lovely to see you break down the game, man. You be seeing stuff that a lot of people, I don't even see it either, man. So it's fun reading the comments them on Facebook. When the game is when the game is going on, I need to log on to Facebook and follow you, so I could be in the moment, because I always catch it like hours after you already done post your stuff. So I be seeing everybody in there and stuff.
One of the reasons why you do that, right, is because a lot of people watch the game, but they don't really see what's happening right in front of their eyes. So I kind of like to give them a player perspective, what they're actually looking at. Yeah. Because to say this team is going to beat this team, I ain't much of no odds. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. It's 50%. Any blind man can do that. Even a monkey can throw a damn thing, throw a dart to a name, and he will probably have a better percentage than us, remember. So you picking Lakers beat Houston, one win out of the other, that's not no big pick. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. It's only 50%. But what I try to bring in terms of my analysis is how are they getting to that victory? And that's what I'm trying to put to the people who are actually watching the game. Whereas last night, Westbrook played very well in the first half, but when you watch the third, I think the game was 82-81, and Westbrook went on I like to say he went Westbrookian. He went a little crazy. Yeah. And Rondo just pretty much took over, and the game went from a tie game out of hand. That was the game.
Yeah, you're right.
But then you look at the end of the game and you look at the stats. Westbrook had 30, Rondo had 21, and you would think Westbrook played better. But if you really watch the game, Rondo controlled the whole game in terms of winning plays. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not the final stats. It's those moments. These games are defined by moments. Anybody can score a lot of points. But if you can't grab these moments, it had a one-time Rondo pretty much control like 12 points in a row. Layup, steal, assist, layup, steal, assist, threes. He was amazing.
He's always amazing too, man. Hey, multi-post, y'all have to start doing live commentary with T guys.
Yeah. So, that's a great idea. We could probably do that watching that game.
Yeah, you let me know. I'm down.
What do you think?
Huh?
The Western Conference final? Let's do that for the Western Conference
All
final.
right, let's do it. We could
Yeah.
do that. I mean, if we could bring in, hey, if anybody want to join in, they could join in.
Yeah, that would be a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
idea.
Mountain, if you want to join in, you could join in.
The only problem would be, remember you guys, your games move a little faster than our games. We have a delay in the Virgin Islands, so maybe one of you guys might be shouting, "Oh!" And then I'd be like, "Dude, what you?" And then I was like, "Oh man."
All right, we'll deal with that. We'll work on that. Yeah, yeah. Mountain, love that idea, brother. We love that idea. And by the way, Mountain's supposed to be Mountain. We got Mountain coming on Sunday. So
Mountain, my boy. I'm so proud of Mountain as well. The only man I saw dunk from the future line in man lead with my two eyes. I know Zoe also did it, but I didn't get to see it. But I saw Mountain. When he was playing man lead, he actually did dunk from the future line. So can't wait for that one. Hopefully we'll have a lot of fun because he's a former teammate. And me and Pam used to give him a lot of hell on the national team. I know some of those stories are going to be fun also. But Mountain, very proud of you. Can't wait for your story.
Yeah, man. Much love to you, Mountain. Everybody tuning in right now in the support of our guests we have here. Much love to everybody. Hope everybody having a good night, man. Hope everybody's safe. Make sure you guys tell all the baseball players, everybody, so they could tune in for this historic moment here. So, episode 31.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh no, episode 31. We have Rory Costello, man, and you know, I heard about Rory from Rico when he talked about, you know, the book that inspired him to write his book, etc. I don't know if Rory's probably going to touch on it. I try not to give too much away, and then, you know, he commented on our on the Elite podcast where we was doing some episodes, and that's how I get to meet him. I want to say JD Clark, you know, compliment him and say he's a good guy. You know, a lot of other baseball players said he's a good guy, man, good guy. And that's how, you know, we kind of met, you know. So I'm just anxious, and I just can't wait to hear the history, because it's always good to hear history that you don't know, you know. So I'm excited, and I can't wait, you know.
Well, for me, it's gonna be the fascination in terms of Rory, seeing, like we always say in the Virgin Islands, we have raw talent, diamond in the rough, and the fact that we can see it from another eyes and another ears, someone who looking at our gems and letting us know what we truly have. That's what I really want to hear, the history of baseball in whole and totality, about his book, some of the players he covered. I mean, I'm going to be like a student of the game tonight, Mumba. Obviously, you're going to have to lead, which, I don't know, questions always pop in my mind. So I'm just going to go with the flow, but without further ado, it's just an honor and a pleasure right now to introduce Rory Costello. I even almost call his name Castillo because he looked like he has a Spanish name, but no, it's Costello. So, Rory, welcome to the show. This is the Elite Podcast. You are very welcome. Good night to you, sir.
Good night. Good night.
Oh, great to be here.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
So I guess I'll start off by telling you about how it all came to be that I got interested in writing the history of baseball in the Virgin Islands. And, well, I date myself a bit, but I'm a 70s kid. And like most American kids back then, I grew up collecting baseball cards. And you would look at the back of the cards, and it would have their birthplace. And I noticed that guys like Horace Clarke and Elrod Hendricks, who were active players then, it said birthplace, Virgin Islands. So, like Frederickstead for Horace and Charlotte Amalia for Elrod. And I thought, hey, cool. And then we went on a family vacation when I was a kid to St. Croix. And it was a wonderful time. And I just came away with a really positive impression of the place. So it was always in the back of my mind that the Virgin Islands are an interesting place and baseball players come from there. And I remember even going to an autograph show with the 1962 Mets sometime in the mid-90s. And Joe Christopher was there, another guy from Frederickstead. And I remember asking him, hey, Joe, who else came from the Virgin Islands who made it to the major leagues? And he mentioned the name of Elmo Plaskett, whom I'd never heard of before then. And so there was another little seed planted. And so it got to be around 1999. And I thought, I want to write something about baseball history, but I want to write about something that's never been covered before. It's something that people don't know about, that I can surprise people with. And then it came to me, I'm going to write about the history of baseball in the Virgin Islands.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's amazing.
So you think pretty much that was by fate that this came about? You was always, like you said, you was a young baseball fan. You collected baseball cards. Did you ever heard about the Virgin Islands before?
Not before the
It just
family
happened-
vacation. I guess I probably would have been around 12 or 13. So it would have been mid 70s when we went down to St. Croix. And it was such a beautiful place. And I remember collecting shells on the beach and just visiting Christiansted and being in just the beaches and everything. It was great for a kid. It was just and going out on boats, sailing and things like that. It really made a very positive impression on me. And even then, without having dealt too much with the people, you could tell nice people from there too.
And when you before you started the book, did you move to St. Croix for a period of time, or you just keep visiting periodically? Did you live here for any time?
No, you know what? How it came about was that I originally thought I was going to do an article, just kind of a short piece. But then the more material I gathered and the more people I got into contact with on email, I thought to myself, hey, I'm going to take a vacation down to St. Croix and St. Thomas and see if I can meet and interview these former Major League veterans. And so one of the guys I met, you probably remember him, Mumba, Joe Mahalik, who used to be the baseball coach at UVI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I made contact with Joe, and he knew a lot of people. For example, he was very friendly with J.D. Clark's mom, Hilda. And so she was Horace's wife, and that was the first door that opened. And really what wound up happening was that one door kept opening another. I would meet one person, and they'd say, oh, you got to talk to somebody as such and such. And then I wound up meeting Valmy Thomas. And he came to my hotel in Christiansted, and we just sort of sat down in the courtyard there, and I rolled tape. I was telling Mumba earlier, this was cassettes. I still have these old cassettes with the interviews of the guys like Horace and Valmy and Alvin McBean. I got to see if they still play. I hope so, because I got to try to transfer them to some kind of better digital media.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
definitely. Wow.
So let me ask you, because you have some serious history right now. Could you give the audience a small summary what it was like meeting legend like Horace Clarke? He recently passed, rest in peace. Can you give like a small summary of how that meeting went, what you guys spoke about, and just put us in your shoes right now. Give us that visual.
Well, before I met Horace himself, I remember meeting Hilda, his wife, and she got out all these scrapbooks that were full of all these amazing photos and things like that. There was a photo of Horace in between Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford when they were teammates on the Yankees in the mid to late 60s. And I just thought amazing photo. And so then I was just sitting there in Horace's house in Frederickstead, and I guess he'd been out running errands or doing something, and then he just sort of came down and flopped down in an armchair and said, "What you want to talk about, man?" And so I had all these questions ready for him. But he was totally down to earth. He was a very modest man. And then the other thing that came to strike me about him was that he was also a very funny man. He had this very subtle sense of humor. And so, just asking Horace new questions. And then he was also telling me about the job he did with Elmo Plaskett. Oh, yeah, and just quickly, it was a real shame that Elmo Plaskett passed away in late 1998 before I'd really gotten the project off the ground, because people told me that he would have talked and until my ear fell off. He would have had all kinds of stories, but unfortunately he fell ill in the summer of '98 and passed away that November. But at any rate, Horace worked with Elmo in these government programs in the Virgin Islands after he was retired, and those programs produced two major leaguers in their own right. There was Jerry Brown, who played in the 80s and 90s, and there was Jerry Cummings, who played in the 90s and up until around 2005.
Were you ever surprised that such a small territory, U.S. territory with only 100,000 people, 3 islands, could produce this mass amount of talent?
Yeah, it was. Well, one of the things that I found out about it was way back in the 1950s, and Rico was talking about this too. His great uncle Fernando Cornero was tied in with the National Baseball Congress, and their island sent a team to Wichita, Kansas, to participate. And there was a part of it was drawn from this team called the Christiansted Commandos, and there was also a Frederickstead team in there. And this one little team had three future major leaguers on it. There was Elmo, there was Joe Christopher, and there was Julio Navarro, who was born in Vieques, Puerto Rico, which is in between the main island of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. But he moved to St. Croix when he was young, and he wound up making it to the majors too. But per capita, at one point, the Virgin Islands was probably even turning out more major leaguers than Puerto Rico.
I'm just laughing because that's amazing that you're actually explaining this history to the entire Virgin Islands tonight, because I think a lot of people in the Virgin Islands do not understand the history of athletes we have. And right now we're focusing on baseball, but it's throughout all the sports. So, I mean, that's why I'm just giggling. It's just amazing that just hearing it from you, I mean, it just give that assurance. You know,
Yeah.
Mumba, go ahead.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. Touching on Horace Clark, so the first time you met him and you guys talked, how was that relationship like as time went on?
Very good, because I remember came up to New York for an Old Timers Day game at Yankee Stadium, and I remember meeting JD and Glenn Byron because they're old buddies. They grew up together, and I missed connections with Horace that time, but I talked with him on the phone, and he was the kind of guy I could pick up the phone and give a call to if I wanted, and he would just fill me in on what was up. And I remember actually after the book got published, the one I'll tell the story about how the book got put together in a little bit, but after it got published, I decided to go back for a return trip to the islands and see if I could catch up with Horace. And I caught up with Al McBean, and I caught up with Valmy Thomas again. What happened was that after I'd done all the research and I wrote it up and I put it in just a Word document, and then I said to this guy I worked with, he was my boss, but he was about my age and a cool guy. I said, Tony, can we get this printed? Because I worked for a financial services firm, and our business was research, and we printed up hard copies of the stock report. And so he said, yeah, we can run this through our system. You won't have to pay. And so I made 2,000 copies of Baseball in the Virgin Islands, and I sent 500 of them down to Valmy in St. Croix, and I sent 500 of them to Al McBean in St. Thomas, and I just said, give them out, spread the word, let the kids know this is their history.
Can you talk about the importance of history in general? Because obviously you have done a great service to the Virgin Islands by producing this book. Could you talk about the importance of having that history and how it affects future generations?
Well, I think it's really because people can take pride in their culture, or they can learn about the world around them too. Because I remember when I was a kid, my parents came from another country. They were born in Ireland, and they came to the U.S. the year before I was born. And so I've always liked to think of myself as having a global outlook, that I'm interested in all kinds of people, no matter where they come from, no matter what language they speak, what cultural background they have. You got to learn about the world around you. And just if you can give back something and just show people this is what comes from your culture, they're going to love it.
That's true.
I agree.
I wasn't a history major or anything in college, but I always did love history for its own sake. And when it comes to just being a baseball fan, the part about baseball that I enjoyed most was the history and the stories.
Your visits to St. Croix, did you ever get a chance to catch any local baseball games?
No, I didn't actually. I didn't. I guess there wasn't time, and it was maybe a little bit too early. Even though it was the beautiful climate in St. Croix and everything, I saw the ballparks, but I didn't see any action going on.
Okay.
Oh no! Wait a moment. Actually, there was. There was. I do remember now. I got to see one game, and there was an umpire. I read. This is what brings it back to mind too, because he. It's somewhere in the book. I can't remember the man's name, but if I describe him, maybe you guys will remember. He had saved a child from being struck by a speeding car, and the car hit him and broke his legs. And so when he was a promising player himself, but after his accident with the car, he would just be sort of moving around on the badly broken legs or just legs that didn't heal quite right. But he still served baseball as an umpire. So I definitely remember seeing it at least one local game.
Who is that Mumba? You know?
Um, I know. I'm drawing blank. There was just somebody. They was just talking about him a couple episodes ago. Man, what's his name? Good umpire too. Somebody. Gravy. Yeah, Gravy.
Gravy. Oh, okay. Gravy. Okay, I didn't know Gravy saved a child.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's big time. I like that. Man, you have a lot of history, you man. You ain't playing.
Well, and you know what I was telling Mumba before the show started? The history that I missed out on, and it was just a sad turn of events. The Negro leaguer who came from the Virgin Islands, his name was Alfonso Gerard, and he was still with us when I went down to St. Croix in '99. But unfortunately, he'd been robbed of his memory by Alzheimer's disease, and he was just. I met him, and he was sitting peacefully outside on the bench with his dogs, but all he could say was just yep, good old days, and he was unable to recall the stories that would have even enriched the history that much more.
I'm telling you, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, man.
So he was a Negro leader. I did not know that at
Yeah,
all.
he played in Puerto Rico. That was the big thing that was the springboard for a lot of the guys from the Virgin Islands was that the Puerto Rican Winter League was right next door. And that's where Gerard got his start and where he came to the attention of the Negro Leagues. That's where Valmy got his start. And in fact, they were teammates and they were old friends. And that's where Joe Christopher got a lot of experience. That's where McBean got a lot of experience. And Horace Clark got a lot of experience. Elmo Plaskett won a Triple Crown in Puerto Rico in his best year there, and it was what really made the people in the U.S. sit up and say, hey, we got ourselves a prospect here. He can really hit. And so you cannot understate the importance of the Puerto Rican Winter League to the Virgin Islanders. And even on another funny level, too, at least three of the guys, Joe, Al, and Elmo, married Puerto Rican women they met there.
Yeah, nice. Ain't no wrong with that.
Going hard, to make that four.
Yeah.
They kept it in the Caribbean, so that's good.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I spent 5 years myself in Puerto Rico playing professionally basketball. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a little bit of island and a little bit of states mixed together. It's one of the best places in the world.
But
Yeah.
I didn't, because Joe Christopher, who was the first man who was actually born in the Virgin Islands to make the majors, he lives in Baltimore. He's still with us. I believe he's in his mid 80s now. And I got a hold of him on the phone after I'd come back from the trip. But Valmy, as Rico was telling on that episode, it was a technicality. He was born in Puerto Rico, but it was only because his parents, who were just Crucians through and through, brought him there for the better medical care and hospital services. And as soon as he was born, they came right back home to St. Croix.
I have a question about your book. When you finished your book, how was it received in the States? Did a lot of people respected the Virgin Island talent when you was writing this book?
Yeah, well, there was a guy, he's no longer with us, but he was an expert on Latin American baseball and Cuban baseball in particular. His name was Peter Bjarkman, and he'd written several books. And I sent Pete a copy of Baseball in the Virgin Islands, and he just said, wow, this is just a rich vein of baseball history that's come to light now and has never been discussed. So thanks to Rory for help bringing this history to the attention of people who care about this stuff.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. That's
I
amazing.
definitely need to get a copy of that book. You still got a lot more?
No, I got a bunch. I still got a box full with at least 50, maybe even as many as 100 of them, of the original first edition of 2000. But at least the good part is that on the website, saber.org, sabr.org/bioproject, the histories of the major leaguers, which have been updated over time with more stuff that I found out since the original publication, they're online. But there's still just something about the original book that it was self-produced. You could hold it in your hands, and then there's all the other little stories too, like the minor leaguers, and there's some historical background on how baseball came to be played in the Virgin Islands in the first place, which was U.S. Navy ships around 1920 or so. And yeah, so I think really the impression I get was that St. Croix and St. Thomas were very sleepy places, very country, and there was a lot of sugar being grown back then. And where there's country and sugar, there seems to be baseball.
Could you talk a little bit more about that story in terms of the Navy guys coming down to the Virgin Islands, and can you tell a little bit more how baseball came about in the Virgin Islands?
Yeah, well, sure, because the U.S. Navy, a lot of the guys, there's a very strong connection between baseball and the Navy. They would bring it wherever they went, and because America, the national pastime, especially back in those days, football wasn't really on the map at all. Basketball was a fringe sport too. Baseball was where it was at, and so the American sailors and soldiers, just from the armed forces, wherever they they would bring baseball. And then the locals would say, hey, we want to play too. And so at least in the Virgin Islands, when Valmy was a kid and then Gerard was young too, the sport was cricket because of the British influence. But then baseball took more and more of a hold in St. Croix and St. Thomas. And then for a while, there were some of the older guys I talked to, they would have played both cricket and baseball and would switch off between the two. But eventually, really, especially with Puerto Rico and the other Latin American influences, where baseball was really strong, much stronger. The cricket didn't even really exist in those Spanish-speaking places. It was baseball one.
Wow.
And so, yeah, well, like Julio Navarro, the guy I was mentioning
tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. We have a little delay.
Yeah.
Okay. Julio Navarro, the guy who came from Vieques and to St. Croix when he was 7 years old, the reason his family came was because the U.S. Navy took over Vieques and made it into a military firing range, and his dad was working in sugar in St. Croix.
Wow. You know, when I was small, I heard about that Vieques episode in terms of the military turning into a firing range. Could you give a little bit more about that? And maybe that's what drove a lot of the Vieques players to St. Croix?
Exactly. Because they tore out the sugar that was growing on Vieques and turned it into this firing range. And a lot of the people, the Viequenses, were uprooted. And the nearest place that they could go, well, a lot of them, was St. Croix. And so they started, became Puerto Rican flavor and element to the local population. I guess maybe that's in your background, Mumba.
Yeah. It's true.
That's true. The history we're learning today, man. We're learning.
Yeah,
You're
man,
teaching.
we're learning.
You know what I'm saying? You are teaching them. So were you did you like the accent? Were you used to our accent? How did you cope when you first came and you heard a lot of my son and all these things? Did you understand us?
Well, I know there was one funny story that I heard about Jerry Brown and Jose Morales, who was a major leaguer in the 70s and 80s and wound up being Jerry's coach with Florida in the 1990s. That they would drop down into the patois and nobody could understand a word they were saying. But for regular everyday English, I've got a pretty good ear for accents, so I knew exactly what everybody was saying, and there wasn't any difficulty in communicating. But it was entertaining. It's very flavorful, the way Horace would speak, the way Valmy would speak, the way McBean would speak. I'll tell you about McBean, great character. I called him up, I reached him, and he said, I'm busy, buddy. I'm always on the move. You got to take this number, call me, we'll set something up, we'll have breakfast. And he'd be talking a mile a minute. And so then he met me for coffee, and he said, I only got 20 minutes, brother. I got stuff to do. I got Sinbad the comedian coming in. I got concerts. I got a lot of stuff. So, you got me for 20 minutes. And so then what happened was that he got so into telling the stories, he said to me, what you doing? And I said, nothing. I've got all day. I'm on vacation. He said, come with me. And so we hopped in his car, and we started driving around, and he started telling me stories. And then he brought me to his house, and he hauled out his scrapbooks and started showing me all his memorabilia. And I just thought, wow, what a treat. But the thing with Valmy and the thing with McBean, amazing storytellers. When I was running the tape and listening to these guys talk, I was saying to myself, this is gold. These guys are amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing. Hopefully you could get those transfer onto disc CDs. That would be great, man. That'd be awesome.
Let me ask you, are you still a historian today in terms of following the Virgin Islands talent? Do you know players like our co-host up there, Mumba Rivera, who was a super stud in the Seattle Mariners organization?
Well, you know what I did for a while after, because in addition to publishing the book, I put all the stuff up online. It was first on AOL when that was my service provider. And then after that, for a while, it was Roadrunner. And they would give you free web space. And I taught myself HTML, and I designed little web pages, and I put them up on a website for people who wouldn't maybe be able to get the book. And I even had a little monthly newsletter going. And I remember just writing about Mumba when his career was active. And there'd be the news, Mumba's made it to AAA, one step away.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Mumba, you lads.
You're giving me memories, man. You're giving me memories. Something.
File somewhere. The files with the newsletter in HTML, they're still on my computer.
Something you touched on Puerto Rico Winter League. So I played in the Puerto Rico Winter League for 3 different seasons with the Mayagüez Indios, and I have to say, like Harris Clark, Emil Plaskett, a list of VI athletes, baseball players, man. They over in Puerto Rico, they revere those guys, man. They love those guys. Like Elmo and those guys is like legends in Puerto Rico. Like honestly, like when I was playing over there, they would know that they would hear that I'm from St. Croix, and they would start talking to me about those guys, telling me about those guys, how nice those guys was, and these guys was like the Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron of Puerto Rico and stuff. So it's, they made a mark over in Puerto Rico.
I'm not surprised. Well, the Puerto Rican people have a deep, deep, abiding love of history in their league.
They do.
And they have a different, in terms of, I don't know, it's just a different passion in terms of holding on to sports figures over there. Because just like Mumba says, I'm a legend in Guaynabo myself.
That's true.
I made a mark in Puerto Rico playing basketball, and sometimes I go to Puerto Rico and I go to some of the best restaurants in Guaynabo. I'm not bragging, but they won't allow me to pay for a meal. But I can't even go to Subway here in St. Croix. I'm gonna have to pay my $10.95.
But
it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's funny you said that, Tegan, because that's how that's what they do. Like if a kid goes over there and play baseball, and he's from St. Croix, play basketball, and they know Kevin Shepard, etc. The amount of different baseball players that from St. Croix, you go into a restaurant and be like, oh no, it's on the house, because of the respect that the people there from St. Croix came over to Puerto Rico, that they just have, so it's just beautiful to see, it's just beautiful to see. And it just says a lot about our athletes that, that was over there, and how they conducted themselves and how they represented.
You reminded me about just the guys playing in Puerto Rico. Elrod Hendricks was there forever. I think he played something like 17 seasons in Puerto Rico in the winter. But that was one of my favorite meetings too, was because he was an incredibly warm and friendly man. He was just known for being the most fan-friendly, ex-major leaguer imaginable, because he was an institution with the Baltimore Orioles. He coached there for something like 25 years after his playing career. But I remember what happened was that I wrote him a letter and I dropped it off at the Hyatt, which is the hotel in New York City where the visiting ball players stay. And I didn't hear from him. And I thought, wow, I'm surprised, because Ellie is known for being this super friendly guy. And so then the next time they came through in July, I got smarter and I got a hold of the Orioles PR guy. And I said, I'd love to be able to set up an interview with Elrod. Can you help me? And he said, sure, he'd be happy to do it. And so it was around July 4th, I guess, 1999. I got a call at my place of work, and they said, please hold for Elrod Hendricks. And he said, what you doing? Come on up to Yankee Stadium. Let's talk. Wow. And so then I got up there, and I got through the security and everything, and the door opened to the visitors clubhouse, and out walked Ellie with this big smile on his face, and he stuck out his big hand, and he said, I thought I was going to see you in April.
That's crazy.
And so then he invited me into the clubhouse, and he just started telling stories left and right, and just recounting all this history about what it was like as a kid growing up on St. Thomas and playing ball and making it to the minor leagues, and the culture shock of being in America first.
Wow.
Here's a quick question. I know you probably won't know the number, but you can give us like a ballpark figure. Do you know how many players you wrote about in your book? Like, could you give a number, 150? How many players did you cover?
Well, there were about a dozen major leaguers, and then really one very interesting figure from a man who was born in St. Croix and moved to the U.S. when he was around 13 years old. And this was back in the 1870s. And he was a figure in early days of black baseball in the U.S. in the 1880s. His name was S.K. Govern. And so I made it my business to find out more about him. But anyway, that's a separate story. I wrote about a dozen major leaguers, which was however many there were at the time, because there were guys like Calvin Pickering, too. He was in the book. He was an active player at that point. And then I wrote about a bunch of the minor leaguers and some of the other local talent, too. So I guess the original book covered the 12 major leaguers, and all told, it probably mentioned maybe 30 or 40 Virgin Islands baseball figures.
Wow.
Real quick, that is a lot. Real quick, JD mentioned that his dad was inducted into the Hall of Fame in Ponce. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
Harris Clark was, inducted into the Hall of Fame in Ponce. So that's pretty awesome.
That's
it's amazing.
And that's very, very special, because it's not like they say you are inducted in the Hall of Fame. They have ceremonies. They really honor you. They put pretty much like a shrine of you inside of a museum where people can come and study you. I mean, Puerto Rico does it the right way, and hopefully that's where the Virgin Islands need to get to in terms of having our sports Hall of Fame as well. So, I mean, having a person like Rory, I mean, your knowledge. Have you ever been to Puerto Rico and watched these games? Did you go back and forth?
I did, actually. I think that was a separate trip. I went to Puerto Rico on vacation, and I went to a ball game at Hiram B. Thorne Stadium. I had artificial turf, which was I was disappointed by. But it was fun to see a game in Puerto Rico. And wherever I go on vacation, if there's a baseball game played, I like to see it there. I remember when I was in Santo Domingo, I went to Estadio Quisqueya, which was a cool ballpark. And it was a lot of fun seeing a game there.
Could you speak on the differences between the Puerto Rican players, the Dominican Republic players, and the Virgin Island players? What differences did you see in terms of their style, their passion, in terms of their talent? Could you give us some differences?
I think they're in many ways. I don't think they would beg to differ. I think people from the separate cultures, because there's always kind of a rivalry, like the rivalry between St. Croix and St. Thomas. There's a big rivalry between the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans. But fundamentally, I think the similarities and probably the way they play the game is more similar than it is different.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I
I would
was
agree.
searching for something, Mumba, because in basketball you can actually tell a country's style, whereas you can tell the American players are very athletic, want to be fast, want to be dunking, throwing,
Okay, I got you.
whereas Argentina would be more strategic in the mind, picking you apart. I don't know if you guys does the same in baseball, so I'm
Okay, I
just
got you.
searching because I don't really know how you guys really do it in baseball. Do
Well, I
do
was
Yeah.
a good
I was
player.
asking the question to say, do the Virgin Island players swing for the fences? When we contact hither, is the Dominican Republic more cocky? I don't know. I was
Well,
looking
I
this up.
think because the guys played with each other too, there was a lot of exchange. I think there was probably mutual exchange going on. One of the things that I was really fascinated to find out about was that for many years, especially in the 50s and 60s, after the Puerto Rican winter season was over, there would be these exhibition games where Puerto Rican players would come over and play with the local Virgin Islands players in St. Croix and St. Thomas.
Oh, wow.
And it would draw some pretty good crowds. And even because this Valmy Thomas was very plugged in politically, St. Croix, and he was a government official, and he was trying his hardest to see if he could get a Puerto Rican league franchise on St. Croix. But I don't think there was enough critical mass in terms of population, and the thing that really sank it was travel costs. It just would have been too expensive to go back and forth. But
Yeah,
it
the
was
economics would have been
it goes
tough.
to show about how much was going on that at that level that the idea was even being considered seriously.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. That would have been pretty good for the island. I think I brought that up with Dennis Bro, if I'm not mistaken, along the lines of that. You know.
Yeah, because I think that's the only thing the Virgin Islands is missing in terms of all the sports. Whereas in Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, they have a professional league in baseball, in soccer, in basketball. Whereas in the Virgin Islands, it's pretty much all amateur sports, but the talent is there. But we just have never produced the professional realm where the amateur now can look at this sport and take it in terms of, I'm going to be a professional. And that's what's really stopping us from producing mass waves of Virgin Island talent.
Well, that
Yeah.
was where Horace and Elmo came in, and I think Alfonso Gerard worked with them too. They were all, and then Valmy was involved too. They're just at some level there was government support for keeping the baseball programs alive. But when Elmo and Horace just didn't want to do it anymore when they retired, then that was a big blow to just the pipeline, the prospects that were keeping the sport healthy. But I remember, a lot of guys wound up going to Florida. Like Midre Cummings wound up going to Florida when he was in high school because he needed the competition, and he needed to have just more, just high level opponents, a better team around him. But the funny part was that the high school he went to in Miami, it was Edison High, I think. They
Yeah.
were they were just kept on calling for reinforcements from St. Croix, just saying, "Hey, we
That's
need more
a
help. Come on up, guys."
Let me piggyback because you said something that was very important that I want you to explore a little bit. You said that Horace Clark, rest in peace, Elmo Plastic, they had a lot of struggles and they just didn't want to do it anymore. Did they ever talk to you about some of those struggles? What kind of deterred them from continue um, doing what they were doing in the Virgin Islands? What stopped them? What was
Well, in Elmo's case, it was his health failing, and in Horace's case, I think he just maybe had reached an age where he felt like it's time for me to retire. Because from what I understand, it was very hot work. It took a lot out of you.
I
pretty
can
much did he
imagine.
spoke about was he getting any external help? That's what I'm kind of reaching at. He pretty much he was a major leader. He sponsored everything, and he just pretty much do everything from his heart. Did he get any governmental support in those days?
Well, I think the existence of the programs was in large part thanks to Valmy being involved and being plugged in on the political scene. And so there was, at some level, there was government support and good programs. And I think it was really just to provide something healthy for the kids to do, just to keep them out of trouble.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So since Valmy was, that makes sense for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing about Harris Clark and Elmo Plaskett, man. You could always see them on the baseball field, like always, like regularly, man. You always see them there all the time. So that was pretty cool. What's funny is that when I was a kid, I didn't realize the impact they had until I got to be an adult. Like now, when I reflect on the times when Horace Clark would come to the baseball field or Elmo Plaskett, I didn't realize the impact they made, and what they achieved, So that's pretty cool thinking back on it.
How well did you know Elmo?
I would say okay. I kind of got to know him later on when he coached us one year when we went to the RBI tournament in Walt Disney Wide World of Sports. He coached, I want to say that was in 1996. He coached myself and a lot of fellow athletes from St. Croix and St. Thomas. We had Laverne Sarro, Tyrone Lake, Neg, that's Tegan cousin. A lot of us Maji. So and then he would always be on the ball field, and we would talk and stuff. And he would give guys on advice and stuff. A lot of us had like bad attitudes and stuff, and he would talk to us. Say they were Horace Clark and stuff. I think I won't say they were strict. I just feel like they know what it took, and and professionalism was very important. And I feel like that's why they kind of instilled in us at the same time too. So, but I would say so. I knew Elmo. I got to know him more when he coached me.
Because that was something I remember vividly, Horace saying to me, that when kids get to be around 13, 14 years old, that's the real test. He said the keeping of the nose to the grindstone, so to speak. That was Horace's phrase. And he just said, let's face it, baseball's a game and it's supposed to be fun. But it doesn't come to be fun when you have some coach bawling down your ear saying, you got to do this, you got to do that.
Yeah, that's the Virgin Islands culture. We all went through that grindstone.
Yeah, that's true.
But I have this question. You said you was a big collector of baseball cards. Do you have all of those players' baseball cards?
Yeah, I did, in fact, make a little separate album for all the Virgin Islands cards. But my collection is minuscule compared to Rico's. Rico's got it all.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Rico got it all, indeed. So, did you do it? With your rich history on the Virgin Islands and in baseball, have you ever been invited down to kind of talk about the history of the Virgin Islands in the form of baseball to any of the kids, or maybe could go to like UVI and give a presentation, the importance of the history in sports, etc.?
Well, I remember McBean saying something about that once, but it never came to be. I guess maybe budget was a factor. But I remember seeing something once that when I was looking at the VI Daily News, and it was pretty cool. There was the daughter of Jackie Robinson, Sharon Robinson, came to visit the islands, and there was a man named Marlon Williams who was involved in, I guess, the recreation department. And he was holding up a copy of Baseball in the Virgin Islands while he was standing next to Sharon Robinson. And I thought, wow, that's an honor.
Yeah, that's a big honor. That's actually awesome. Man, I wish you had the book right now so we could really see it, but I'm definitely going to get one of those books. I need to have that in my collection.
Well, if I hadn't been working today, I had time too. I should have thought ahead and gone down to the place in our basement where their box of books is and I want to know what the heck happened to the copy I have that has all the autographs on it from the guys I was able to meet and have sign it, and which was most of them, except I don't think I've never met Jerry Brown. I've just talked to him on the phone. I've never met Jose Morales. I've just talked to him on the phone. And same goes for Calvin Pickering. All great guys, all wonderful to talk to and very helpful on the phone, but I haven't had the pleasure of in-person meetings.
That would be priceless. I mean, autograph from all those guys, a lot of them have passed. Man, that's a priceless stuff you'll have there in terms of Virgin Islands history. Man, it would be an honor if you'll come down and, like Mumba said, to give like major presentation. I mean, that's something I would like to work with you with, because I also work with sports park and recreation currently. You'll be a great guy to come down and give a presentation, because history like this, you can't just sweep it underneath the rug. I mean, shoot, I'm 41 years old. I'm hearing more about baseball from you than I've heard on St. Croix. So we definitely have a problem there, Mumba. We need to get this thing right.
No, it's true. It's true. Definitely. We need, something needs to happen. Something needs to change. Because, you guys was talking about, with the amateur sports, I feel like, baseball has been so far ahead than, basketball, because it's been around longer in the Virgin Islands, that we should be more farther along, just because we have had so many players that actually made it to the major leagues. Even a lot of players made it in the minor leagues, and I'm playing in winter ball in Puerto Rico. So I feel like we should be more farther along, as far as having like a team, at least a professional team, like what they was trying to do, and probably represent the Virgin Islands, playing in Puerto Rico and playing in like the Dominican Republic, etc., in Mexico, in Venezuela, because all those countries has winter ball teams, and I feel like the Virgin Islands should definitely have a winter ball team, and I think that would create more opportunities for a lot of people,
Well, who I think had something to do with that too, just making basketball that much more popular, is Tim Duncan.
Well, yeah, he's definitely an icon right now. So he's one of the greatest, not just in the world.
I grew up thinking I want to be Tim Duncan, not I want to be Midre Cummings or Al McBean or any of those guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And even basketball, we have a lot of professional, Coach T himself. I feel like we should be farther along too in basketball. I just feel, so I think we have the resources. I think we have a lot of players, so I feel like we definitely should be more advanced than where we are today.
I got to tell you,
let me ask you, Corey. Oh, go ahead.
All right. Anyway, I got to tell this one. It was from 2001 when I had a chance to meet Midre Cummings in person. I'd spoken with him on the phone a few times, and for somebody who was portrayed in the U.S. media as being mysterious and enigmatic, those were always the words that were used to describe Midre. He was as forthcoming and open as you could want. And then he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2001 when they went to the World Series to play the Yankees. And he'd been called up late that season, and he was fortunate even to be on the postseason roster, but he was. And so he was at the Hyatt, and I called him up and I said, Midre, do you think you'd like to be able to meet for lunch? And he said, sure, happy to. And so we sat down there, and he was saying, gee, I don't know even what I'm doing here. And I said, well, the manager, thank you. The manager must want you here for a reason. And that night, he got into the game, and he was a pinch runner, and he scored a key run. And he actually also in Game 7 of the 2001 World Series, Midre again serving as a pinch runner, scored the tying run, and then the Diamondbacks went on to score the winning run and became world champions. So Midre was right at the heart of baseball history again as a Virgin Islander.
Your history is strong, man. We're just here smiling because you are just nailing it to a T, because we had Midre on and he was telling the same story. And you're pretty much knocking it out the ballpark. Were you ever amazed that when you met these Virgin Islands talent that we weren't, I'm trying to find the right word. I don't want to say cocky, because it's different kind of mentality of the superstar in the States from the superstar in the Virgin Islands. Most of those guys in the States are a little bit more prima donna, so to speak. Whereas when you met those same type of players in the Virgin Islands, it was like you meeting a regular guy who is just being a regular guy. Was you amazed that the Virgin Island talent was not thinking themselves as being the king of the world, so to speak?
Yeah, that was surprising, and it was a real pleasure. I just thought, wow, these men are just so down to earth. They're very different personalities. Some of them are quiet, some of them are outgoing, some of them are just funny guys. Some of them are quieter guys, but all of them were just to a man willing to just. They were very gracious and willing to share their histories.
Yeah, it seems like from your story that they were pretty easy to get in contact with and get an interview with us, sit down and talk. It seems like you didn't really have that struggle, you know. Like Tiga was saying just a moment ago that you know, like you hear guys like a lot of people talk about some athletes is just like they can't get an interview with them. It's so difficult, etc., etc. But it seems like you with the Virgin Island athletes, it seems like it was pretty easy.
Well, I did have help, but again, with some of the personalities involved, just Elrod Hendricks was an exceptionally friendly and gracious and outgoing man. It's what he was known for. It was his trademark, and he was just in the top 0.001% of all major leaguers that way.
Oh wow.
It's crazy. Oh man.
And
So
then
Yeah,
somebody like Dean too. He was a guy. When I heard him talking, and when he was telling the stories about his playing days, he reminded me of Muhammad Ali. And then when he hauled out his scrapbooks and let me thumb through them, sure enough, back in the '60s, people were drawing comparisons to him and Cassius Clay, as Muhammad Ali was known back then.
oh wow.
who was that? Sorry, that was who?
That was Alvin McBean.
Okay, okay, okay. He was the greatest of all time then. He was the greatest of all time. He shook up the world.
Well, because he was flashy, he was cocky, he was crazy, but in a fun way, in an entertaining way. And he, again, just fundamentally, what came out about McBean was that he was a people person. He really cared about kids. He really cared about the fans, and he enjoyed just meeting and exchanging, just pleasantries. And he would go to people's houses for meals when he was in Pittsburgh. He was just a really outgoing guy.
Cool. So when the last time have you visited the Virgin Islands? When was the last time? Last
I
year.
think it was in 2000. So it was a follow-up trip I made after the book was published because I just wanted to say hi to Valmy again, say hi to McBean again, and just to see how things were going. And I remember meeting McBean and his wife at the market in Charlotte, Amalia, which was fun. And I remember he was giving me, I think it was the guava berry liqueur. He was giving me coquito. He was giving me all this stuff.
He was giving you the good stuff.
Yeah.
So you haven't been here in a while, man. You need to come back and make a visit, man. You're missing out.
Has it changed?
Not much.
It's changed. Yeah, I mean, it's changed a bit, you know.
The beaches are always still great. Where are you in the States?
In Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Okay, okay. Yeah, well, you
But
pretty much
I don't live in New York
up there. A lot of Virgin Islanders up there. A lot of Caribbean people up in Brooklyn anyway.
Oh, well, this year, unfortunately, because of COVID-19, the West Indian Day Parade, which draws regularly 1 million folks to the streets of Brooklyn, they had to do it online. But my wife and I would like to go to that, and it's fun to just see all the different flags and the different foods. And well, number one will be Jamaica. Number two will be Trinidad and Tobago, but you're guaranteed to see a Virgin Islands flag at the Brooklyn West Indian Day Parade.
Yeah, I used to go to that a lot. I used to go to that a lot because, like I said, my number one sport was soccer, and we used to take a team, unique, from St. Croix, and we go play in the tournament. They have like a soccer tournament every year, and we go to the Labor Day Carnival, and man, it was crazy. Every year we used to do it. Every year, I kind of miss that.
Well, yes, Brooklyn really, it's a strong Caribbean community. There's just, you name the country from the Caribbean basin, it's represented here in Brooklyn.
For sure. A large Antiguan massive up there. Burning flames every year, Boomba. Burning
Burning
flames.
flames. So, Rory, you mentioned S.K. Govern earlier, and I was reading about him briefly earlier when I was working today on the link you posted in the group. And can you touch on him a little bit?
Well, he was a very mysterious figure. It was very hard to find out stuff about him. I had to go on microfilm. I had to go on the internet, and even over the years, more and more stuff just kept kind of bubbling up, as I put it, from the fog banks of history. And I was able to. There were books that were published that had more information about him and his days in the 1880s, organizing the Cuban Giants, the early star black baseball team, and just his involvement into the 1890s. Fascinating figure, and somebody I was amazed to find out about. And the question that's still open is whether he actually might have played any baseball or any bat and ball game when he was a kid in St. Croix, because he moved to Washington, D.C. in the 1860s or 1870s or so, when he was just a boy of around 12 or 13.
Because he was born in St. Croix, correct?
Yeah, he was born in Jolly Hill. That was
Jolly
something that was fun. I was able to find there were Danish census records, and it was from, yeah, it just showed that, because I think one of his parents, either his father or mother, was white, and the likelihood is that he had some Danish descent.
Okay. Because he also mentioned in the when you wrote that he could have been credited for the Winter League. I'm guessing like the creation of winter baseball.
He might have had a hand in that, because it
that.
is known that he went to Cuba at some point in the early 1880s, and he might have been one of the figures who was helping just get winter baseball off the ground in Cuba around that time.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted you to touch on him a little bit, just because we always talk about how we talk about at least from St. Croix, and how important, and then he was from St. Croix, and he did some important stuff, it seems like. So kind of just wanted to touch on him a little bit. I never heard of him before until when I read the article.
Yeah, it was because I remember when there was a Negro Leagues expert in my organization, Sabre, who said, "Hey, have you ever heard of S.K. Govern?" And I said, "No, I haven't. Tell me more." And so he gave me the lead, who he was and what he did, and then I started digging around some more to try to find out what I could and round up that story. So yeah, the version of the story that's online now, the one that you're looking at, has the benefit of all the stuff I found out since the original story was published in the little book.
Okay. Did you play baseball growing up as a kid?
I did, but I was terrible. I couldn't hit away. I was able to. I could throw okay and I could catch okay, but I couldn't hit. But I loved the game anyway.
What position?
I played second base and I played center.
Okay. I'm getting a couple texts. Couple guys are asking me some questions to ask you, so you guys go ahead so I can understand what they want me to ask.
No, so growing up as a kid, who was your favorite baseball player? Who was you drawn to?
Well, I was a Mets fan, and because it could have been the Yankees. I grew up in Connecticut, so you have Yankees fans, you have Red Sox fans, and you have some Mets fans. But when I was a kid, the Yankees, well, it was the so-called Horace Clarke era. They weren't doing so well, and the Mets were on top after having won in '69 and going to the World Series in 1973. So the buzz on the school bus when I was a kid was about the Mets.
Yeah, Mets. Can you Rico touched on the Horace Clarke? You call it the Horace Clarke era. Can you touch on it as far as you can remember when he was playing with the Yankees? Because I know that was during the downtime with the Yankees, and everybody knows, if you're a baseball fan, you know how playing for the Yankees is so much pressure playing for the Yankees because they're known for just winning championships. And every time you play for the Yankees, you expect to win championships. You know, they're like the Los Angeles Lakers or the Boston Celtics. Is you got if you don't win a championship, the season is pretty much a bust. Can you remember how? Yeah, failure. Do you remember how it was like as a fan of baseball during the time when Horace Clark was playing for the Yankees?
Well, I remember just reading later that when the Yankees were a dynasty, which was from basically the 20s through the early 60s, they went to just so many World Series, and they were cold and hard and serious about going to the postseason because there wasn't big money back then. And if people messed up, they were saying, "This is my postseason." They came to expect the postseason money as something that they were entitled to. And I think that was something that built up over time too, that there was a sense of entitlement among the Yankees fans. And when the club started not doing so well, and which wasn't Horace Clark's fault, he was just the guy who happened to be most visible because he was there throughout the down years. He was a leadoff man. He was at the top of the lineup. He played every day. So people just sort of kind of made him the scapegoat for the Yankees' lack of success.
Wow.
Which wasn't even all that. They had a couple of really terrible years, and then they had some pretty good and okay years. But for the Yankees fans, pretty good and okay wasn't enough.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true. You know,
What was your favorite team since you started doing all this research with the Virgin Islands athlete? Did you follow all the teams? Them? Did you have a favorite? Pretty much a Yankee since you lived in Brooklyn, but did you have a
I'm
favorite
still a Mets
team?
I grew up a Mets fan, and I'm a Mets fan to this day. So I'm just
I feel.
actually, there's one Virgin Islander who's appeared in Mets uniform. Akil Morris pitched one game for the Mets.
Keith Morris, yeah.
Yeah, I'm rubbing my head. I feel your pain a little bit. I'm sorry. Yeah. Good luck with the Mets.
We have a question here from one of the viewers. They want us to ask you about the relationship between Winter Ball and St. Croix. Was there a rift that prevented more games from being played in the VI?
I think there was one real Winter League game that was played in St. Croix, and that was thanks to Valmy Thomas. I think it was in 1968. But if I had to guess, it's my belief that just the travel expenses were the thing that made it prohibitive for more games to be played there, aside from those postseason exhibition games that went on when there was less pressure and they could take their time and just sort of spend some time there. But with a regular schedule, I think either flying or even taking a ferry boat, there wasn't all that much money. And so I don't think the team owners were going to say, yeah, we'll shell out for this. We'll finance a trip to St. Croix on a regular basis.
Okay.
During those times, did they had a lot of major league scouts used to fly down since the Virgin Islands definitely produced so many talented athletes? Was it just one? Because I know in basketball they have like one regional scout who scouts the Caribbean and he comes on and just scout. Was it like that? Did they have like scouts used to fly down like crazy?
Well, you know how it started was that National Baseball Congress tournament that I've mentioned where Rico's great uncle Fernando was involved. I remember finding a book in this bookstore in Queens that was known for its big baseball library. And I found in it was a National Baseball Congress annual from 1955, and it showed pictures from the 1954 tournament. And there was Fernando Cornera, there was a very young Joe Christopher, who was a young man of 18 or so at the time, and this Pittsburgh Pirates scout called Howie Hake. And Howie Hake was known as the man who just ranged throughout the Caribbean looking for baseball talent. And when he was at the National Baseball Congress and he saw this Virgin Islands team, he decided, okay, and he signed Joe Christopher. And he said, if there's one guy who's this talented from there, I'm going to go to the Virgin Islands and look for more. And he wound up signing Elmo. He wound up signing Al McBean. And that was then when those guys made it through to the majors, then scouts from other organizations started coming too. But it was Howie Hake and the Pirates who really helped put the Virgin Islands on the map.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And this was in time of Roberto Clemente from Puerto Rico. He was at the Pirates in those times, right?
Yeah, in fact, Joe
Yeah.
Christopher would talk a lot about Clemente. He just, as you can imagine, revered Clemente because of the kind of person he was.
That's amazing. So it seems like the Pittsburgh Pirates was like the first major league team to really, you know, put their hand out to the to the VI in the Caribbean. You would say, because with Roberto Clemente.
Well, the New York Giants, they had a guy who was a former Negro League club owner named Alex Pumpez, who's in the Hall of Fame. And he was the guy who really helped get a lot of Dominican talent into the majors for the Giants, like the Alou brothers. But in terms of just broadly signing a lot of Latino talent and going to different places like Venezuela and even Colombia, just really off the beaten path, it was the Pirates and Howie Hake.
Wow.
Just a little offbeat. Your main focus was really the Virgin Island talent, but did you ever consider doing a piece on the Puerto Rico talent, the Dominican Republic talent? You just mentioned Venezuela, who is rich in baseball as well. Even the Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao for the Netherlands Antilles. Did you ever got pulled to do a story there? Or you were just captivated with the Virgin Islands?
I'll tell you who else I made a little specialty of. It's not as deep a pool as the Virgin Islands, but the Bahamas have turned out a number of guys over the years. And in fact, there's a new guy who has just made it to the majors from the Bahamas. And they've sent about 5 or 6 men to the majors over time and a bunch of minor leaguers. And that's a very, very similar story to the Virgin Islands, the baseball in the Bahamas.
Wow.
You just shocked me. I didn't even know Bahamas play baseball.
I didn't know that either. I'm a baseball player too.
I know they're very good in basketball and track and field and swimming. I didn't know they was good in baseball.
Yeah, that started in the 50s, and again, it was thanks to the Navy.
Wow.
Being a British possession, as it was until the early 60s, cricket was the game there. And the first guy who made it to the majors from the Virgin Islands was a shortstop named Andre Rogers. And he grew up as a kid playing cricket, and then he took up baseball. And because he was such a wonderful athlete, he was able to make a pretty good, successful career for himself as a Major League Baseball player.
That's amazing. Moba, did you know that?
No.
See, we are learning history tonight. I didn't even know that was the first Virgin Island.
Yeah,
I mean,
I made
that you have to come
guy.
Yeah, I'm saying you got to come and give a big presentation. Get your presentation ready. And I mean, what you're saying right now, you can't let it go on deaf ears. Your knowledge is too much. We need this knowledge to be preserved. And like my sister says, this is the 20th century, but we don't put things on CD anymore.
I mean, whatever you put it on. DVD? No? DVD don't count as a CD?
No, we're going to put it on file and we're going to put it in the cloud. We're going to make sure you can put it down in the cloud on file. You know, that's how it works.
Big up, Arika, big up. Rory, are you planning on writing a book about your experiences covering baseball in the Virgin Islands? Like, as you know, like an up-to-date version as far as your experiences and reflecting, on your times.
You might get an article there, Mumbo, but I don't know if it's worth a book.
Oh no. Just because of we keep saying like you have so much history. So I was just wondering if you ever plan on, writing a book, about it, about everything.
Yeah, who knows? I'm young yet. There might be time.
I think it's actually a great idea because you already have the foundation of the Virgin Islands baseball talent. And now with the future, such like Mumba and many others who are coming after him, you'll be amazed. I mean, baseball has produced more professional not just in the major leagues, but in minors and stuff like that, has produced more professional athletes in the Virgin Islands than any other sport. So the baseball talent is still very rich.
Yeah, it's been encouraging to see the comeback in recent years too, with just the guys like Jabari Blash and Jarrell Cotton. I was just it gave me a smile to see that men born in the Virgin Islands are back in the majors.
Yeah, I bet they give you a smile just because you know how long you've been covering baseball and been a fan of baseball in the Virgin Islands. So to see that the different generations, it's I could imagine.
I'm gonna
Well,
give you a great idea.
there
Here's
was
a
a streak,
Go ahead, George.
there was a streak from I think it was 1959 through 2000 something or other, where there was only 1 year that there was not a man from the Virgin Islands in the majors.
Wow.
I'm gonna give you a great idea. You know, ESPN does those 30s for 30s. I
Uh-huh.
think you and your history should be on one of those 30 for 30s and
That's
highlight the Virgin Islands in terms of baseball talent. I think that would be amazing. Just having that legacy and history preserved on that 30 for 30.
Well, I wish we'd done it a while ago while some of these guys were still with us.
you know what that is true. That's a great idea, Tegan. And like Rory said, if they had done it all, that's man.
I mean, it would have been great, but they still got a lot of families here who can pretty much recall their memory, and you still have the future in terms of baseball. Recently, the Yankees just honored Harry Clark, and Puerto Rico same way Harry honored him. So it's a story waiting to be told. I think you should pitch it to ESPN. Real time.
I got to see if any of my old college buddies know a producer there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Calvin Pickard is on, by the way. He said hello.
All right, I pick up.
Yeah, so but that's a great idea. Because we are U.S. territory, and that would be pretty interesting. Like Tegan said, that you still have families. That would be lovely. If it ever happens, that would definitely be lovely. You know.
I believe it's a great story because normally a company always look for something outside the box. I remember one year they did a story on a surfer in Hawaii. I mean, come on, that's a surfer. We're talking about baseball, America's pastime. Some of the greatest players ever came through the pipelines. A territory that a lot of people in America pretty much don't even know exists. Some of them, I mean, now we're starting to get a little popular, but for most of America, they don't even understand the Virgin Islands is part of America. So this would be something great to highlight in terms of a 30-30. I think it would be a great pitch, and if you make $1 million, just remember Coach T and St. Croix.
That's a great idea. It's just finding the right person. Like Rory said, if you could, that's something. But we'll see.
Because the knowledge is already there. He has the knowledge. I mean,
Yeah.
you are teaching us as well, and we grew up in the Virgin Islands, and we are learning so much from you. So you are actually doing us such a big favor tonight that you're actually blessing my spirit, because a lot of the stories you're telling, no one have never taught me. So, I mean, it's a story here. That's all I'm letting you know. You can just pursue it. You never know.
Well, I'm honored to hear you say it. Thanks, Coach T.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's
Welcome,
true.
man.
On top of that, can you talk about the how it felt you inspiring Rico to write a book on the Virgin Islands?
Well, that was great. I just because if you look at he took the ball and ran with it. He's just gone so far in his field and made such an impact that I just thought, wow, that I had at least a little indirect role in helping set Rico on his path. That makes me feel very happy.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think it's important to inspire someone, because you kind of build that legacy, and then it passes on, and you inspired him, and he inspired a lot of us, and I think it's that trickle down effect, so that's something that's gonna keep going on and on. You know, like what we like this platform we have is all about, you know, honoring, you know, all the different, you know, people from the Virgin Islands. So it's kind of like a, you know, we're like a distant cousin to you in a way, you know. So
Well, you know what they say about paying it forward and all that.
it's true.
But say one, say two. Now I just said about producing the 30 for 30. We have the legend in you, and then we have Rico, the future. Put them together, and now you have the total package.
Well, Rico's got more star quality.
Big shout out to Rico, man. I would just love to see it because at the end of the day, it's not about money. It's not about anything else. Like you said, it's just preserving history. And a generation who don't know where they came from will not have an idea where they're going. They will have to create their own future because they don't have something to pull from. And I think with the history you have, as long as you can instill this in future Virgin Islands young minds, then they can always pull back from a Harry Clark, you know what I'm saying, a Elmo Plaskett, a Momo Rivera, a JD Clark. All those guys who came before them, now they can reach for strength in them and move forward. I never think a generation can move forward without understanding the history. So
Yep.
it's just preserving history, in my opinion.
Well, fellas, that actually sounds like a pretty good note to end on. It's running late for dinner here. And it's great. I could go on, but I think at this time it might be about time to bow out.
There's no
Yeah,
problem. Man. I mean,
no
we'll
problem.
go forever because once you see something is different with knowledge and truth. When you hear knowledge and truth, you know it's like a light. You just want more of it. And the fact that you are teaching us stuff that we never heard before, it's very hard to say goodbye. But we do understand you need to feed your belly. And man, it's just an honor and pleasure. I am just so blessed with you. We stay in contact with you. I still think you need to holler at someone at ESPN, give them that pitch, even Fox. You never know. And let's get the Virgin Islands back on the map.
Well, if you have the kids watching your videos, we can try to inspire them and they'll do more digging on their own, and who knows what they'll find out and learn.
That's true too.
Love that.
That's true.
Love that. Love that.
Rory,
All right, it's been great.
yeah, it's been great. Thank you very much, man. We appreciate it. Definitely appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Any final words in terms of to the Virgin Islands people, to anyone you like to anything final you like to say before you leave?
Just thanks again for being so gracious and helpful and friendly. You're great people.
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Very
appreciate
sharp
you, man.
and
Thank
sweet.
you, Rory.
And you probably is going to be one of my best interview in terms of time because with that guy up there, he likes to go like 5-6 hours, so it's crazy.
I'll take all the blame. Thank you, Rory. We appreciate
you,
it, man.
man.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Stay safe, and I pray you and your family stay safe as well. And
And we'll be in touch.
Definitely. Definitely.
Bye now.
Okay.
yeah, Mumba, man, that was really really informative. I must be honest. A lot of the stuff that he said, I have never ever heard anybody talk about in St. Croix. It's crazy.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Especially
man.
when he hit me with the Negro League. You know how you have the American version, but we never knew he had someone for the Virgin Islands playing the Negro League. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like that's the thing, man. We don't know. We never really learned these things growing up, and that's something like we should learn. Like you said, if you don't know your history, you can't really move forward.
Yes, it's very hard. You leave a generation looking back at nothing and force them to create something in the future. Every culture needs a history to pull from. So I really think that we need to get him back in the Virgin Islands to, first of all, record him live, giving a presentation of that history. And we definitely need to get a copy of his book. And we can put his book with, what's that guy's book you had on the other day? Rico.
Yeah.
I know you have a full circle of pure Virgin Islands history. So
that's true. somebody should be doing this with the other sports too, especially basketball too, and all the other sports. You know,
Well,
that's
hands
just
down, I mean, I ain't biased. Baseball pretty much is the richest in terms of talent.
yeah,
Okay. Basketball might be the most sexiest sport in terms of people want to play it because they
want to
feel
play. Yeah,
they're in control of their own power, whatever. But baseball has produced many more talented players. So I mean,
yeah,
either way, we need to have something to start preserving these history, whether it be books. I know you mentioned CD, but it probably won't be CD. So it'll have to be books, put it in the cloud. What we're doing right now with our platform, with the
yeah.
elite, and if I know he probably won't pursue it, but maybe somebody from ESPN is watching because Mumbai, you're starting to get very talented yourself. You might get called to to argue some issues with Stephen A. Then
No man.
you can push this thing. You know what I'm saying?
You know, the most I could do is reach out to farmer coaches and farmer teammates and see if they could get in contact with someone from, along the ESPN lines, etc., and stuff like that, and see if we could make it happen. That's the only way we could probably,
Well, everybody's in Orlando right now. Just get your umbrella and go by the bubble. They ain't gonna let you in the bubble.
hell no. Them gonna kill me, brother. You crazy? Now when LeBron James is in the bubble, you can't go next to the bubble, bro. The golden child, come on.
Wait. How close are you to the bubble?
I'm
I forgot
about
to ask you that question.
I'm about 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. I'm right, yeah, I'm right there. I'm close. I'm
You right?
close to everything, man.
Man, you're next to the bubble, man.
Listen, I live in a perfect place in Orlando, brother. I like 15 minutes from the bubble, 15, 20, about 10, 15 minutes from downtown, about 10 minutes from Seawall, about 15, 20 minutes from International, you know. I'm 10 minutes from the airport,
You're right
you
there,
know.
man.
Yeah, I'm like 10 minutes, 5, 10 minutes from the loop. Yeah, I'm close. From the
And if
Florida
you
Mall, I'm
can
about 7 minutes.
if you can't meet nobody from ESPN, something wrong with you. Everybody is right in your area. So
It's hard to meet them people, brother.
get on it,
You
and
know.
then while you are there, give them my book so we can we can
Uh,
do a double tip.
no, man, but honestly, man, that's a great idea that you came up with, man. Honestly, that's a great idea. I
That's a
feel
big tip.
like, yeah, I feel like, just, the athletes, man, again, like rest in peace to Harris Clark, Jerry Brown, Major Cummins, a lot of those guys, Emma Plaskett, Alvin McBee, Eldra Hendricks, and those guys, a lot of those people in the baseball family knows those guys. I would say, Harris Clark, just because he was a Yankee. So, like you said, they honor him and stuff. They honor him a
Mhm.
Yankee. So I feel like, they know the talent that Virgin Islands produce, and I just feel like maybe if that idea is brought up to somebody, somebody would definitely be interested in it, man. So the most I could do is just reach out to whoever. I just reach out to farmer players that still is in the major leagues and farmer coaches that's in there, and maybe they could probably try and talk to someone. Because you have baseball tonight and Eduardo Perez and those guys, so maybe they could probably get in contact with one of those guys, and maybe you never know. It just take one person to like something.
Yep. It'd be a great idea.
Yeah,
And
man.
who wouldn't want to have a vacation in the Virgin Islands? Trust me, they will come. They will come.
Yeah. So we have somebody here on YouTube. I want to do something else. Yeah, definitely Crujan gullible. So just we be in touch with that, So Tian, that's an amazing idea, man. Amazing idea. I love that, man. You the man, brother. So
No, you're the man. You are the man.
no man. No man, but hey, so let's we what time is it? It's 8:42. We could talk about basketball a little bit if you want for like about 10 minutes, 5 minutes is up to you. Or we could call it a wrap or
Yeah, I
anything.
mean, yeah, we can finish it up with 10 minutes in terms of what we probably will see tonight. Who playing tonight?
Isn't it the Clippers
Clippers?
then playing tonight?
Yeah, I think Clippers
Yeah,
playing tonight.
Clippers playing tonight. Yeah. That's the only game, yeah.
And I think this series is what 2-1 Clippers.
Yeah, 2-1 Clippers, yeah. That's Hayden. That's Hayden Tegan. Kujan Golabo.
Oh, okay. Tell him, say, hey, look, man.
Yeah,
Tell him,
you tell him, man. He listening. He listening. You tell him how you apologize for missing
he can come out for
his.
5 minutes.
You said what?
He can't come out for 5 minutes.
Shit, I don't even know, man. Hayden, let us know if you could come out for 5 minutes. Tiga want to know. You know, if we definitely want to get you back on, especially when Tiga is on. But if you could come out
Yeah.
for 5 minutes, Tiga and ask him. But you know, we definitely would love to have you back on. Hayden,
Yeah,
man.
man. Hayden, I definitely apologize. I really wanted to. I just had some plans, some family plans, and normally around this time we always have a bunch of party that ain't really hit my mind with this COVID thing. And I forgot that this weekend was Labor Day, so it just hit me by surprise. I couldn't help it. Had to be there. Had to go.
No, man. You know how it is, man. Labor Day during them times. So, but yeah, he had some great stuff to say about your dad, man. The way you know how good of a soccer player he was, man. You be downplaying your father, man. You
Well,
be
I mean,
playing
that's what
games.
I said. I would have loved to hear him because a lot of people don't understand. When my father was playing, I was so small, I never really see the man play. Until when I started playing, he was so much older. He was not. He was pretty much a shell of himself. He said you could see he still had some skills, but come on, he ain't wanted no piece of me. I mean, I was a monster to eat. You know what I'm
Oh my
saying? But
gosh.
the stories I heard about it. Obviously, he made the Hall of Fame in the Caribbean, and in Antigua they have a couple field named after him as well. So he obviously left his mark. So I'm not gonna take that away from him. Me, he always argue like we are very cocky. We have the same mentality, and I would always let him know he ain't wanted no parts of me.
Hayden said give him five. Give him five. So
Okay.
yeah. Zorro, I just seen your text, man, because I have my phone on silent. So I definitely
Me,
gonna ask
me
Rory
same
about
way.
Joe Christopher. Huh?
Me same way. Maybe Zoe text me as well, but I have my
Yeah.
phone.
I have my phone on mute, so ask him where Joe Christopher is living now. So I definitely gonna ask him that Zorro. I'm gonna text Rory and ask him. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
So
But
when I come on, Zoe, I was off. I mean, I want to get to the bottom line with LeBron James and Michael Jordan. That's one of my subject before Hayden come on. Because on the internet, I do not understand why they are so much animosity against LeBron James. This thing is crazy. Okay, Michael is the best ever. We get that, but he's not playing in this time. Let
yeah,
LeBron have his moment. This is his time. However, he accomplished his goal, this is his time. You don't normally get to the same level, the same as somebody else. I mean, if you do it in terms of mathematics, I mean, if you want to do 8 plus 2 is 10, 5 plus 5 is 10, 7 plus 3 is 10. You know what I'm saying? 5 times
yeah.
2 is 10. However, you get to 10, it's still 10. But
That's
other
true.
people can take different routes. And I don't understand. Man, no matter what you put, when LeBron James is involved on Facebook, the level of hate. What? Could you believe this man scored 29 points in the first half? And
Yeah.
people still say he played like shit, mama? You serious?
Hate, man. Hate. Listen, people. Listen. The worst thing to be in life is a player hater. Is a
This is
hater. You do not
crazy.
want to be a hater. That's the worst thing to be in life. Is a hater. You can't be a hater.
You just got to give him credit. The guy played an unbelievable game, not just scoring. He was very effective defensively. He blocked a lot of shots. If you want to say he didn't shoot a lot in the second half because he was passive, he had to be because Rondo was taking over. He allowed his
Yeah.
teammates to shine. I mean, LeBron is a dude that just can't win, dude. I don't know what people want
Yeah. He
LeBron.
can't win. Yeah.
I think LeBron can score 99 points tomorrow night. And if he missed the last layup to win the game, everybody can say he played like shit. I definitely think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. I
He
think so
can't
too,
win.
man.
He can't win.
I'm I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed with LeBron James this playoffs, man. Oh, let me send this link to Hayden. I think he's playing great, man.
Yeah,
I think he's been a lot more aggressive than in the past. It seems like to me. I might be wrong, but
you're right. He is definitely inserting himself more. He's a lot more confident on his free throw. You could say because there ain't no crowd in the gym. I don't know, but he just looked comfortable. I mean,
yeah,
that's scary. He doesn't look phased.
yeah, he does, man. I think Rondo coming back, and I said this to somebody the other day, and they laugh at me, but he helps him a lot. He helps LeBron James a lot.
So I got Zoa, the legend of the VXS, and a private text. I hope you don't mind me saying it. His team LeBron always bringing it up. So he obviously got a team LeBron on Facebook, and Zoe must defend Mike.
Yeah,
because Mike will never have 0 in the fourth quarter. That's facts. I do understand. I mean, I just don't know about the comparison. Personally, I don't think LeBron care about that.
No, he doesn't. You can't compare the two of them. You just can't.
They never played against each other. The era just different.
Yeah, they would have never got each other either if they played against each other.
Yeah.
It's just
maybe Mike would have probably got him because how LeBron them and the brand of basketball is now, everything is so wing oriented. I'm very happy to see Lakers is probably the only team in the NBA right now utilizing their bigs. I love that. And you're showing the young players them out there, 3-pointers is not the only way to win a game. LeBron is punishing you inside. AD is punishing them man inside. And that's what you should do when you have the size advantage. So I must say I love that from the Lakers. They are penetrating, they are attacking the glass, and they are punishing the smaller Houston. That's what you should do. If you're gonna stay out there trying to shoot a bunch of trees, you're playing into Houston hands.
That's true.
I mean, they play small ball. You can't play small ball with small ball. I mean, my biggest thing is I just don't know where we're gonna get from Westbrook. My goodness.
I was telling this to somebody the other day. Westbrook is, what makes him so great, what hurts him. He's so competitive and he gives 100%. He just gets out of control too, man.
Yeah, he has to just think a little bit. And then like 3-4 times he came down and nobody touched the ball. It was crazy.
Crazy.
Hey, so man, how you doing, man?
We got the man here.
Tegan was so small when I had to leave home. It wasn't funny.
I know, right?
So, yeah, I don't blame him for not remembering his father because he was a youth running around this field. I was on the field already and he was small. Him and my brother and the Robinson twins used to run around together. You remember Sheldon and Sherwin Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah. You give us your memories.
Man, I'm so mad I missed your story, but I'm gonna rewatch it.
It was long, dude. It was long, dude. I didn't even realize how long it was until the twins tell me, "Hey, Dad, that thing was really 3 hours." I was like, "Yeah, man."
3 hours, man. You would not think it was 3 hours, man.
I didn't think so.
Crazy thing.
That's
but yeah,
crazy.
man. That's your father.
Uh-huh.
Your father and your uncles them used to be our nemesis in the soccer league.
What team you play with?
I was with Caribbean United and then Rovers.
Oh, so you was with Rabat them. Rabat and Terry turned into Rovers.
With Turtle, yeah.
Yeah. That's Uncle Rabat. That's he married to my aunt, so that's Uncle Rabat.
What's your aunt name? Your Karen? Or no, Pam. Yeah. Karen is the daughter, right?
Yes.
Karen used to work with me in Verizon Wireless.
Okay, cool, man. You know the whole family.
That's crazy.
You have no idea, man. Yeah, like Money and Mania. I grew up with those guys, bro. I from 13, I was playing ball with them, man. And Cole One was just incredible.
He's a monster.
Cole
One is my father. You know the funny thing is, I know people will hear this in my story. Mania, who is Uncle Cliff, he was the one who actually took me under his wing.
Oh,
So he kind of he actually told my father he could be my son and I could teach you how to play. So Cliff was
What?
the one who was actually Manya. He was teaching me how to kick. He showed me how to run. Yeah, that's real time.
That's insane, man.
Ronnie was too proud. That's Neg father.
Yeah.
He used to beat me up on the soccer field, telling me I'm too small. And you know, he got an Antiguan accent. So he used to tell me, "Little boy, sit down, little boy."
You're too little, you're not ready.
So he used to beat me up. So it was just Cliff. Cliff was the one.
Yeah.
He used to show me how to kick, and so Cliff was very instrumental in my game. My father used to play. I practiced a lot with him. He still had some skills, but you know, obviously he was up there in age, because my father had some age. A lot of people don't know I'm the third. I'm the third child. You have two older brothers.
That main field that they used to practice on, I think they call that Shang Field now, right?
Shang ballpark.
Yeah. So I remember that ballpark with all the kasha tree around them and the goats running on the baseball field on the side.
That's but the goat still did it.
The goals still there, and people still playing ball on the ground there, man. That ground, I remember taking off my boots them after I went there to a practice game or something like that, and taking off my boots and getting kasha in my foot.
That's crazy.
That was a long time ago. That was before you.
But that's how we used to play, man. That's how we used to play. And you play actually with one of my best friends, Terry. Terry also took me under his wing because I played with the national team when I was very young. I was 15. I don't know if you was on that team when we went to Haiti.
No, I was. When you all went to Haiti, I think I was on the other side of the country trying to get on San Jose Sharks at that time, I believe. You say you were 15. So you was Derek age.
No, I'm older than Derek. I'm a little older than Derek.
Derek is 41.
No, you are the same age.
You, Derek, Terry, all are the same age.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know Derek. I used to be running around in Hess and Martin Marietta back in the day.
I always thought Derek was coming at me.
No, the Chinese looking one, man. He was a Chinese looking one. So and like I was telling Mumba on Sunday, your uncle, I suggested your uncle and English Trevor Leibod to go and play with XXM Panthers. Your uncle went to Mania had gone to St. Martin, but Mania had gone to St. Martin to play with Ramos and them. And then when I had finished my obligation, I had gone back to the States, gone back to school. They had moved the team from St. Martin, I think it was to St. Vincent, and that's where Trevor English had ended up going.
Yeah, English was very skillful.
Oh man,
so many great players and so many teams. What do you think about the soccer state of mind now? Because back then when we was growing up, we had so many teams and we didn't have this amount of money from FIFA. Now that you have this fluctuation of money, the teams are just dying up.
I think it has a lot to do with the infrastructure of the actual local leagues. What I see happening is it's becoming a little bit more professionalized, and money has to be upfront and in line when you come into FIFA and you're playing games and representing the country and being these top-notch teams. You have to have your paperwork in order because of stuff has happened in the past. So, like with what happened with the FIFA family and how they bought the Qatar World Cup for the next World Cup that's coming up, that caused a lot of problems for smaller countries. So you have to have some kind of way to get sponsorship for these smaller teams. I was telling the boys that when I had gone home with my sons, I was trying to go to a game and I was in Chicken Shack. And this fella hear me say, "Oh, we're going to the game tonight." I think it was on a Friday night, and it was down in Pali Joseph. And the guy said, "What do you want to take them to go and see that garbage?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And that's the mentality, and that has changed a little bit. And but there's still a lot of back and forth that has happened, and you can't have that happening if you go have a good product on the field.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
thing is, when money comes in, you run into certain situations where you have to have a bookkeeping system together. And I don't know how the club's setup is right now because I haven't been home. I haven't been part of a club since I want to say 97 was the last time I was on Rover's list of players that could have come back and play home. But yeah, you have to have that kind of know-how, and you have to have, but it has to be educated. Information is king, and if you don't have that information shared, then you're losing out on certain individuals that don't have the ability to get things at that level, and that could hurt you in the long run. I like the direction things going. We have the only professional or the only FIFA certified field
Yeah.
in the Caribbean.
Wow.
I
We
don't
had a
think
couple of professional games that came.
yeah.
United came, Bermuda came. A
Mhm.
couple of teams came just before the COVID. It was really starting to kick. COVID really spoiled a lot of stuff, but
It got kicked in the
it
gut
was
for COVID,
really
man.
getting good. It was really
Mhm.
getting good.
And
But that
you
is
had
games, believe it
yeah,
or not. That's
and you
crazy.
had the first set of players that actually play in like an Olympic qualifier. That's a big step. That's a huge step.
Huge.
I wish
Yeah.
that was around when I was younger. Shit. I wish, excuse my language. I wish that we had the youth systems that had come up after I had left, because when I left, Hugo had just passed by, and then AYSO came up a few years after, because I know Derek and them played AYSO and Johannes and them had him. Now let me tell you something. We had 3 coaches from St. Croix. You had Terry Jones, and if you see Terry, tell him I say hi, man. That's my brother.
I see you all the time.
Terry, Johannes, and Mike, 3 nationally certified coaches in St. Croix, for AYSO. They could go anywhere in the country and they could have trained other coaches.
Wow.
So you have that kind of know-how and you have that kind of professionalism home, but what's the utilization of the product that you have there, or the utilization of the tools that you have there? Because that knowledge, you can't buy that kind of knowledge. And them fellas, they're
Yeah.
really, really great legends and good teachers of the game. Without them, I don't think I would have ended up staying with soccer. I would have gone to something else.
You hit it on the nail. I mean, I'm very close with both of them. They
Yeah,
still go to Denmark and take some kids over there with AYSO. They're doing a great job. It's just that they can't connect AYSO and the federation together. And that's probably one of the biggest problem I see.
it
They
is
need
it is up to it is a lack of foresight in my eyes, because you don't have to be part of each other's organization to be able to help each other.
That's right.
Because what ends up happening is you just end up fighting for certain things that you don't need to be fighting for. If you want to focus on the national level players and stuff like that, fine, focus on them. Let the youth system take care of the youths and the development of the youths, and then when they're ready, let the coaches know, listen, I want to see if this one could come and play with me. I want to see if that one could come and play with me. Have a symbiotic relationship. Don't be fighting back and forth like that, because it don't help nobody in the long run.
I
That's
agree.
true. That's true.
Totally agree. And that's one of the biggest hurdles we have to get over, because
Yeah.
both organizations right now is not really on the same wavelength. And
Mhm.
we just don't have the demand of players in terms of fight over players. And right now, AYSO have the younger players. If you're going to develop a national team, you need a youth system.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes
Yep.
no sense.
Definitely
And
need
it,
one.
Yep, definitely. And they have a good coach right now. Gilberto that's there. Giba is a great coach, And
Yeah.
they linked up with our club up here, the West Florida Flames, and they got a couple coaches that came down and have been helping them from there. And that's fine and good. But do some kind of connection between different clubs around the world. You know what I mean? Because you got Danish teams that want to come down to St. Croix and play. When Johannes and them used to take them teams up to Denmark to play in those tournaments, the people say, "What? These kids are from the Virgin Islands, and them boys they only had a couple days to practice together, and they had a good showing, But
It did well.
if they had a little bit more time together, They would have
Yeah.
put a different product on the team and would have probably handed those other teams some losses. But soccer, football internationally, those kids are playing games so often in such big venues sometimes that you cannot imagine how big the venues could be.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of kids in tournaments, not thousands,
Wow.
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands. And you go to Norway and you go to the Scandinavian countries and you go to Spain and you see that happening. Now, if we get our product together and we get them practicing together, is a whole different ball game. Because not for nothing, I still think the VI athlete is head and shoulders above some places in the world. If
Mhm.
you get them in the same place working out and doing games, then you give
And
them an
that's the
opportunity.
problem with
Yeah.
all the sports, just the lack of games and the lack of opportunity. But if it's any sport that has the ability to overcome that, it's obviously soccer, which we call football, because now they
Mhm.
have the financial backing. So now we really need to put this money behind, our youth system and let we develop the talent that we know we can.
Right, right. I mean,
Yeah.
and if I always I had been helping them with getting players from up here when I hear that they have players from home that can't play. So I do that every now and then. If they ask me anything, I'll try and help them out. I mean, that's just me and my love for the VI and having a good product on the field. I ain't gonna send you no garbage. I'll send you some of my
The
visions
best.
of what we could have on the field, and we have had it. I mean, you see in the U20, they actually had a good showing, except for the first game. But the first game was all nerves. When you actually look at that first game when they play against Nicaragua in Nicaragua, they play against the host country, brother.
Jeez, that's tough.
So,
And
and that's your first game together.
country, rich country, as well. Anytime you mess with those South American, Central American countries,
Yeah,
you
they
better
got
come,
us,
you will get destroyed.
and
That's
their
true.
youth system is well developed. They have academies all over that country. It's like I was telling my son, I was like, listen, my friend Martin that was with me when I was in Monterrey, he's a coach right there at the UC at the university right down the street from where they were staying. I was like, he came and he looked and he see what you were doing when you were practicing. He's like, you need to stop stretching so much. I was like, you don't know. And I was telling him about this the other day too. I was like, you don't know when people are looking at you.
Yeah, man.
You from the time you cross that gate and you get on the field, you're a professional in somebody's eyes.
Somebody's
That's
watching
just how
the
it
show.
is. Yeah, that's just how it is.
That's
How,
true.
how was your like now that you have now seen the progression in terms of America just falling in love with this sport because it was never really one of the major sports in America. Yes, there was still soccer, but now you can see it's exploding. Like
So
what's your feeling about that? Because if we had that opportunity back then, even myself, I probably
you
wouldn't even choose
you
basketball. I'd have
you would
probably
not pick up a basketball. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
That's true. My whole thing with up here. So from the time I came up to the States in '90, right, to live and to go to school and stuff like that, soccer has always been a huge youth participation sport. They've always had millions and millions of children playing. I think the development of the sport has gone to a real good level, and they have the professionals around. Now, US soccer and MLS has actually helped with the development of soccer at an international level for other countries too. If you pay attention to the players that are coming in, even here there in Orlando City or here at Tampa with the Rowdies, you have players from Central America and South America that are actually making the teams and giving them those reps that they need for when they go on international tours or when they will go on and try out for international teams.
Yeah.
So they have that kind of experience and they know the level and the speed and the level of football is so different when you get past, like, I want to say junior college or something like that. Other countries would have that kind of program that it's a benefit to them. Then you start seeing those kids go back home and they get into the international level and then they end up in Europe and in England and in Germany. The problem I see with US soccer is they put way too much emphasis on pay. The fact that they drag players out of where they come from, a paying environment where they only good players could come from the paid structure, the clubs and stuff like that. I personally have an issue with that because when we were growing up, we never had to pay to play soccer like that. As a youth, if you had to pay for anything, you end up paying for your cleats and stuff and insurance, right?
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
But up here, that if you want to be seen or recognized for anything like that, you have to be on a club that's a select team or what do you call it, a developmental team, and that's money. And like I was telling Mumba on Sunday, I was like, not everybody could afford that, and I know offhand, I could probably pick a 10 that can't afford to play that could probably compete with some of these teams, and that's a fact. And the country is so big that kids get lost in the system, and that's just how it is. But the recruits don't think they go into the areas like the rec teams and stuff like that, or go to enough high school games to see what's going on. They kind of put that in a back burner. They don't even pay attention to high school soccer too much anymore in the Florida area, which I think is sad because they lose out on a real good talent pool that's there that
Yeah.
can't do it apart from playing in high school.
Wow, I didn't know like that. I thought it would have been like a euphoria because,
Mhm.
like some of the most desperate players that make the best players. When you go to Brazil and Mexico,
Yeah,
sadly to say, most of the best players come from really tough, poor, stricken families because
and
that's their
that's
way
it.
in terms of making it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to have that passion in your belly, right? You have to
Mhm.
That's
have that
true.
passion in your belly. When
That's
that
true.
fire burning inside of you, the fire does drive you to go to another level in your game. And I try to explain it to some kids, some players that I've had in the past, because I have seen it in them. Some of them just leave the sport because they don't have that kind of influence around them. But you could see the fire. You could see that they want it. They want it more than a lot of other players around them. And when you see that fire, and to instead of just blowing it off because of where they are.
You're frozen a little bit. Could you repeat those last sentences?
Oh, I was saying that when you see that fire, you should as actually help that fire get to where it needs to be.
That's
Because
true.
if you leave it on the field and you leave the kid alone and you don't mention something to somebody that then you actually doing a disservice to your sport, because that's probably the kid that could be the next Messi or the next Ronaldo or the next superstar in this country.
Man, I can already
That's
see
true.
your passion. You ever thought about coming back home and sharing
I,
this passion because this is what
I
we
was
need here.
actually I was actually trying to do that over the last couple of years, but things played off different compared to where I expected to be. But now that the boys graduating from high school, I looking to try and get back home within the next couple of years, 5 years, to come and help do something, either help with my old club and help foster a good development for them, or do something with the youths, because and like I always say an idle man is a dangerous man, man. We
That's
need to
right.
get these kids doing other things other than paying attention to what on the TV and all the other nonsense that they could get into and hurt themselves. There's too much potential in the Virgin Islands for us to let it slip into a disaster like how we letting it happen right now.
Well said. Well said,
That's
man.
true.
Now you're really making me mad. I missed your interview. Oh man.
Oh, trust me, man. Hey, my God.
Nah, man. So let me ask you just quickly.
Mhm.
What do you foresee we go now in terms of soccer, football, like we say,
Mhm.
pre-COVID? Because obviously COVID really put a damper on a lot of our sports. Like, what's next? We see the professional teams them finding ways, but all of those guys are living in a bubble. But in reality, we all can't live in no bubble. Like,
Right.
protocol happening in the states, and how could we
Yeah.
transition some of that here in the Virgin Islands?
So they have protocols here, and they actually just started playing competitive again 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks ago they just started playing again. They had to get institutionalized method of distancing and staying away from each other, and making sure that kids learn that they have to wash their hands and clean their cleats and the boots and stuff like that when other people touch it. Make sure that they don't get into too much contact other than playing the actual game, because not for nothing, you don't know who you come into contact with here. And if you go to a simple place like a supermarket, just touching a grocery cart, you could have how many different contaminants from different people, So
Exactly.
they actually implemented where the kids would come in. You just park outside and you make sure the kid gets in, and then they had a spaced out area where the parents could stand up and watch and stuff like that. And they're doing it at the tournaments too. Um, it's good. I mean, I don't know how effective it has been. I haven't heard of any cases coming out of any of the clubs that have been playing. So they've been doing a good job with it. With the problem with being home is the smaller community, and trying to make sure that when you implement stuff like that, that people understand the rules, so that when they come to the park, they're not messing up nobody else. And that comes with, like, how we were, like, the old word used to be brought up see. You have to have that kind of brought up see. If you ain't learning at home, you ain't gonna be doing it when you get out on the street.
That's
So
true.
the parents need to make it their business to learn what needs to be done to protect the children when they go and play in these tournaments and stuff like that.
That's true.
So I mean, it's harsh. It's harsh. I mean, I seen our seasons. Like, my son was playing with the competitive B team U19 here, and they got shut down. We still had 3 tournaments left that had college scouts that were supposed to come and check them out. So they lost on those opportunities, and that was supposed to go all the way up to May. So from the end of March to May, they lost all them opportunities. Now they have to try and find a way to do something to put themselves in front of the college scouts, or any scouts that might come along and see. Because in this area too, we just have a lot of professionals from all over the world that show up and just come and check games out. You'd be surprised at who will show up at games just to watch.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mhm.
In terms of college, because
Mhm.
obviously they are very nervous in college. Are they
Yeah.
playing any football in college? Did they
Yeah.
shut the school down?
They actually still practicing. I don't know if they started yet. I think what they were talking about was staying within conferences, doing like a conference kind of tournament month, and then going into a playoff system to go into the national championship. I think that's where they had ended up last I heard. I haven't gone back and check on it because I kind of get disappointed. Looking forward to going up to some things in June to my alma mater up in Buffalo, but everything gets shut down and closed down, and all the camps and everything get rescheduled for next year, which is going to be too late for a few of the kids. So
Yeah,
it,
that's true.
it is what it is, but we just gotta keep moving forward and see what's coming up, and keep appraised of what is being said online, because online is where everything is right now.
Right, right.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
I just been talking for 30 minutes and I got so much information. I really gotta go watch the episode, and I go definitely follow it and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
man, Tegan.
I just
But
wanted to
Tegan,
apologize to you. I had so much stuff I was doing.
you don't have no clue the kind of inspiration your father was to footballers home, man. You really don't understand it because you were too young. And it was always a pleasure to watch him on the field, man. I was like, what? This man did not just touch that ball like that and just spray it off without even looking at the man. he, he used to mystify us sometimes, and it was good to see that that whole unique team was that family, man. That
It is.
family was unique. So it was always a battle when we used to be on the field. But once we get outside the white lines, it was nothing but love, my son. And when we used to go sign and farm and play, we used to go and have our kick around on Sundays, and that was always fun.
And you know what's funny? Before Rovers, most of those players was ununique. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, we had a good spread. We had
Yeah.
we had like we had like a split from Caribbean United, and they had another team, I think, called Strikers, and then the other part that Turtle had bring with him from Unique.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Man, it's a pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to come back on, so what
I
about
guess sometime, man.
about soccer? Because you don't know nothing we talking about right now.
Oh, I know something. I know some stuff about soccer. We talking about. I was,
He hold his own on Sunday, man.
yeah, I hold my own,
Yeah,
man. Hey,
yeah,
don't forget my mother from Antigua, you know. My mother from
yeah,
Antigua. We get soccer, we get some soccer and cricket
yeah,
and stuff too.
yeah.
Okay,
You
good,
know.
good, good, good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, man. Nah, man. It was, hey, man. I'm telling you, it was amazing, man. I had fun. I learned a lot. You know, it's just always good hearing somebody else's story and their experiences in life. You know, through sports. You know,
Yeah.
like I was really interested in all the different countries he played in. That story with his Haitian players, that's something that's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life. You know,
Yeah.
Let me hear. Give me a little summary of that. Because I played, first of all, let me tell you my little brief story. I did remember the national team where Haiti. I didn't even know Haiti were good at those times. It was me,
There.
Iba. We had a nice little team, Brad, rest in peace. We had a nice little squad. We were playing against Haiti. We didn't even know Haiti were that good. They beat us, but they beat us 6-2, and I scored both goals. And I was like, when they said, man, Haiti is ranking like the top 20 in the world, I didn't even know that.
You gotta remember Haiti have a lot of players that are playing in France in the professional league.
Yes. They were
So
very good.
Yeah.
They were
if
very
you
good.
if you ever play Haiti and Guadeloupe, it's just pure. You don't see them man come back from France and play France and Holland too, because they have a lot of players up there that are Haitian. You know.
Man, obviously Terry was the one who was the MVP of that game because he made so many goals. You hear? Well, my God, but Terry was really good. Terry was one of the best keepers I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Man, you sometimes when you do things, you don't really know what you're doing because you're in the moment. But when you look back and you was like, we had no business being on the same field with him.
That's all in preparation, though. But that was all in preparation, man. That was all in preparation. And you all didn't have the games coming up to those tournaments and playing against those other teams, you know. And that's sad. That's sad because you all had a good mixture of players that was there. So it ain't nothing less. The problem is when you have a professional playing against somebody that's a working man is miles and miles above. You have to find that next level player to step in the game. And now the Virgin Islands have a few of them.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Well, my
Anyway.
brother, man, it's
Yeah,
long.
thanks for letting me back in, man. I appreciate it. Well,
Anytime,
I
man.
needed to talk to you, man, because
Yeah.
I was telling him I wanted to always find out why Iron Man used to be rolling down the hill because I never used to want to roll down that hill.
We're just chill, Jay. We don't have nothing else
It
better to do.
was sad. No, I was like, no wonder he couldn't see his father play. He was rolling down the hill. That man was dizzy.
You were too busy messing with the Robinson twins, them. Yeah.
When
No,
you're
man,
smart,
but
you just looking to find something to do. That's
All right, fellas. Well, thanks a lot, man.
anytime, man.
Massive love.
Man,
You
much
all
love to
take
you,
care.
man.
All
Much
right.
love.
Keep
it,
it together.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wait, one thing. I'll get in touch with Rory because I think I have a couple people that used to work with ESPN that might be able to give me a link with regards to the story you're talking about. And I think it's important to start a series with the job I'm doing and a couple other podcasts that are going on through the Virgin Islands right now, because this is really important. And I hope parents are actually getting their kids to look at this stuff, because without, like you said, without history, you don't have that drive to go and do anything more. And there's a lot of history in St. Croix and St. Thomas when it comes to sport.
There's a lot.
All right. So yeah, I have a good night and have a good week at the rest of the week, and hope to talk to Io again.
Definitely,
Right?
man. Definitely, man.
Take
Anytime,
it easy.
Yeah,
All
man.
right, man. Yeah, I'll take it easy.
Yeah, man.
Mumba, man, that was refreshing, man. I appreciate what you just did there. That was good.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, he spoke highly, man. Man. That's my first time really meeting him, man. And he's a good person, man. He's a good human being, and I think that's somebody that the Virgin Islands need to be in contact with, man. When
Yes.
it comes to soccer and stuff like that, somehow he should be a part of the future of soccer with the Virgin Islands. He was the first professional soccer player from the Virgin Islands, from St. Croix. So he's in the history books himself. But his knowledge and his wisdom and his where he see the sport and stuff, he talks so eloquent, or whatever the word is, I can't pronounce it, but he's just one of those passes, man, that you just gotta have.
And wanted to see he wants to give back. That's the beauty about his spirit. That's the same spirit we have. And when you see like spirit, man, it just attracts you because he's not doing it because he wants glory. He's doing it because he wants to make it better for future Virgin Islands athletes. And that's the beauty about this story and these podcasts. Man, he really made my night tonight. I know my sisters, them commenting. I should have given him a bullet. Alrika said we never see our father play. She definitely was way too young. Erica was too young as well. Erica was always the book one in our family. Obviously, she's a liar, so we are very proud of her. She was more booky. That's Carrie Ann.
Oh.
I call her Erica, but let me call her Carrie Ann.
Yeah. I was like, I thought when you said Erica, I thought you was talking about Alrika. I was like,
Alrika.
Okay.
It's Carrie Ann, Erica, Carrie Ann Shepherd.
Okay. Eloquent, Alrika, eloquent. She messing with me the whole night tonight, brother. But she right though, eloquent. I was
never into sports like that. My sister really got into sports later on in complex. That's Carrie Ann.
Carrie Ann, yeah.
Alrika was more on my tail, from jump. She used to be behind me. I used to have a dribbling ball all day through the gym. That's why she liked basketball so much, But I don't even remember. Erica and Alrika never played no soccer. They didn't know nothing about no soccer.
Yeah, they probably was playing with Bobby dolls and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, they were too young to remember those times. Yeah. But it's a blessing, man. Mumba, you made my night tonight, and
man,
I'm definitely gonna go eat some food and sit down and watch this game. We need to really do when the semifinals reach. We should call it the Western Conference Final.
Yeah, Western Conference Final.
Definitely, we'll have a podcast, kind of commentating the game, giving our thoughts and stuff. I think that would be really cool. And
hopefully we could get some, some of the viewers and man or whoever. We could probably get like Zorro or Dwayne or Mountain, Shotgun, whoever.
Mountain, Haywood. We got some great minds, and we'll sit down and talk about the game, watch the game, and kind of dissect it. So we'll have the fans' perspective, the coaches' perspective, the players' perspective. So a lot of people will have an idea, what are you actually watching on TV? Because a lot of things you see on TV, it looks like the game, but the game sometimes will be watching a lot of people. They don't really see what going on.
It's true.
We can actually kind of dissect and kind of open their mind a little bit more to what they're actually watching.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Nah, man, we had, Hayden came on.
I played soccer officially.
Unofficially.
I run track.
At Green Bay School in Antigua.
She
making stuff up, right? She making stuff up, man. She making stuff up. Playing a soccer, man.
Mumba, did we call it tonight?
Yeah, man. Just real quick, we had two good people on. Hayden came on late, and once again, thank you to Rory Costello, man. Amazing. Someone who's not from the Virgin Islands, but got the spark from looking at baseball cards and seeing from the Virgin Islands, went on a vacation, and then the rest is history. Much love to you, my brother, man. That's amazing. That is amazing. So
we appreciate Rory. Rory, keep doing what you're doing. Please contact those people for 30 and 30. Like I said before, Virgo's rule. Big up to our boy Beanie Pan. I know he's probably still celebrating his birthday. Happy belated birthday to you, Beanie. Don't worry. Every Virgo always celebrate their birthdays for a whole week. For my sisters, I love you guys. Alrika is actually a Virgo. Erica is shit. I keep calling her Erica. Carrie Ann is November, so she way down the line, So the Virgo is gonna celebrate in 2 weeks. You probably won't see me, but we'll see how it goes.
we put the APP and you, brother.
And Neg is a Virgo as well.
Yeah, Neg is a Virgo, yeah. So Yeah, Neg is a vulgar too. That's true. You know, Maji, big up to Maji. He's a vulgar too. So, you know, she says Saji rule. That's right, Saji. Big up to all the Sajis them. You know, so, Saji, you already know. Bullet. So, man, Tiga, man, it was a pleasure, man. Oh, everybody that tuned in tonight to support Rory and also Hayden as he came on later on. You know, much love to everybody that tuned in. Much love to everybody that asked questions. I was interacting and gave us a name. Much love to JD. Much love to Byron as well, too. You know, Maurice, you know, much love to everybody, man. Everybody be safe, you know. And Tegan, you take us out tonight.
Mumbai, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure coming back. We did a great job tonight. Big up to our boy Beating Pang. Hopefully, you'll come back and join us on Sunday. We will see Akeem Mountain Francis, one of the highest jumpers ever in the Virgin Islands, most athletic, superhuman being. And
facts.
Big shout out to Hayden who came on and blessed me tonight. It was so great to hear the history of my family because my family, as you know, is very deeply embedded in the Virgin Islands in terms of soccer. And that's one of the stories I would love to tell when my story come about so people have an understanding how long my family have been on St. Croix since 1966 giving back.
Yeah.
You know, and it's going to be a joy hearing that kind of story.
You got 10 more episodes, man. 10 more episodes. We told you 10 more and we on you.
A cool one. That's gonna be a cool one. People gonna be shocked because they really believe I play basketball from jump. I mean, I used to play for fun, but I never took it seriously until around 9th grade. It was all about soccer for me. So
that's gonna be interesting, man. You gotta we gotta find some. You gotta bring somebody out to be a guest host that you want to represent for you. So that's something you have to think of and see who wants to come on.
I have to find out. Let me find out. I gotta look out because Bogus were one of my closest friends. When he actually pushed me to play basketball in Elena, because I didn't play 7th grade year because Sport and all those guys were so great in Elena. You had Jomo, Sport, Bim Bim, Maki, Gongsu to Scotia team, and it's just one day. I didn't want to say too much, but one day in a grade. I used to play soccer though in Elena and stuff like that. We used to win all the time. We used to beat up on all in private school. Nobody could beat me in soccer. I was a man. And I actually played tennis. Peters got me in that. But one day I was in Peters' class and Peters was like, you don't want to play basketball, he's gonna coach JV. Them times JV went to 9th grade. Junior highs went to 9th grade, so you had 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I played 8th grade. JV, and Bogus was the one who actually got me to play. And I was like, and then that was it. From then, me and Bogus really formed like a great super friendship.
Yeah.
I actually left when I started playing with Alaba for 10 to 12 in Cyan Farm. I went and played with Guidance. That's where I met Baysay. Bogus used to live in Harborview. And I used to just go to Harborview. And the rest is history. And the legend of the gun was farm, you know what I'm saying? And that was it. That was it. I had to put after, well, we're going to talk about that with my episode, you know, when I actually had to put soccer down. But I was still playing soccer sometimes.
That's what I got to get in contact with. I got to get in contact with Bogos. I was thinking about it yesterday when I was cleaning the kitchen. I was like, man, I got to get Bogos on. I keep forgetting. I have to contact him to get him on. That's somebody we got to get out for sure. I got to hit him up. I got to hit Bogos up.
He has a great story because I remember when you used to block his ball in practice. Yeah. OMG. Bogos used to be so pissed at you.
Yeah, Bogos used to be mad.
He would like, who the hell this young kid be blocking my ball?
Yeah, Bogos, man. Hey, those practices was the best practice. Hey, you don't understand, man. Those, man, I'm gonna talk about my story. But
so competitive and complex. When we got to the game, it was so easy because we used to literally fight in practice, Mama. You remember those days? It was crazy. And you was a starter, and you didn't even want to play with the starting five. No, you was one of the greatest dude I ever met.
Because I wanted the competition, man. The competition. I never wanted to play with you on Bogos. In practice, I didn't want to be in a safety with you guys. I did not want to. Never. It was just that competitiveness, man. Like You guys were so good that I wanted to be better than you guys. And that was the only way for me to prove
You
myself.
were at the starting five. Why are you going on the second team? So I really respect you for that. You really moved me. Now I looking back at it, I love that competition. And that was
man.
about you. That
Yeah,
competition,
man.
you loved it. I love it. But our practices were so hard. Once we got to the game was really like a cakewalk. The only time we had like serious problems was when we went rack, because those days we used to bar central. So
Yeah, Rock, yeah.
Idora
Ken, yeah.
Ken used to be our main rival. So
Yeah.
man,
That shit was fun, bro.
that should
That
be a
practice
good
was
one.
amazing. Yeah, Dwayne get his number. So Dwayne, link me, man. Link me. I'll link you to get his number. Yeah, we gotta get Bogus on, man. So and plus I gotta get Peters on too. Peters and Mr. Miller on.
Yeah.
Trying to get them on.
Peters actually wanted me to do track and field as well, but man, as fast as I was, I hated track. I did not want to do track, but I tried tennis and soccer for sure, and then I picked up basketball. Al and Elena, that was it.
That's crazy.
The
Your story gonna be fun, brother. Your story gonna be good. Trust me, it's gonna be good. You know, it's gonna be good.
So Moba, man, just take we out. Blessing and love, and we out, and we let the people them know. Enjoy the night. We love you guys. Thanks for joining us. It was a pleasure, and just wait for my episode. It's gonna be episode 41. You know that's a special episode. So
10 more episodes. So
and my episode, hopefully, Momana will take you guys not so much into, because what I really have to offer, where I really hope I could give you that professional lifestyle, because a lot of people will hear about the local lifestyle and the story is going to get repetitive. We all kind of grew up the same struggles, but I can really get in depth in terms of those type of struggles you're going to meet in the professional.
That's where I'm going to hit you at, just because, you know, you play professional basketball, I play professional baseball. So we understand that being a professional. That's why I'm more interested with your story, playing professional overseas in those different countries. You know what I'm saying? That's where I want to know about, as from a basketball perspective.
That's me. I have some stories. Yeah. Even if I did stories, I know bad man, but I did get into a couple scuffle. Thankfully, I was 3-0, you know, but I will tell some of them stories.
I want to hear them.
When you leave from Senko and going into these people countries, especially the position you take in, the point guard who was on that team is not really going to be your friend. No, you come in and take this man's spot. That's just reality. So you can either be a punk and get punk. You can either hit back and let you know, me gonna be no punk. I could care less if I could be in your country. It's on. You know what I'm saying? So I had to slap up a few overseas.
The Antigua came up, brother. Hey, before you leave, you know what makes me laugh about your movie? The part when you was talking to that dude in this, I think it was in the store, and he said that he was smoking weed. I always remember.
Yeah.
That's like he was so happy to tell you that.
Like it was a good thing.
Yeah. And your reaction was funny, man. I was laughing, brother. That shit made me laugh every time.
You know what they cut out of that part right there? Because he had more part. Because the part had no teeth. So I was like, Pops, you're a bad boy. I can see why you didn't have no teeth. But the producer take that
down. That's what I want to hear about that too. About, you know, the production and how was that like and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be good, man. You know, I can't wait. I got a lot of stuff to ask. So
it'll be cool. That might be cool. I don't really want to go no longer than an hour and a half though, because you're gonna give me I have 3 hours. So I'm just gonna give you a summary of the early life, and then I pretty much bums away with any story you want about the professional world.
Yeah, we just gonna let you. We gonna let you talk
as well, because the book that you read, a lot of people. My sister, give thanks for my sister, Carrie, and she actually edited and stuff like that. Change the grammatical errors. So it's reading a lot better. So I gotta send you that copy. But
Nice.
it was
nice.
really
Big up,
about me. So I was hoping you catch it. The book was about me. It had nothing to do with nobody else.
yeah.
It was about my internal struggle, you know,
But that's amazing. It's amazing, man. It's amazing how you do it.
because it's a fight, and that's one of the things me and you will have that connection with.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That professional world, this people think it's so easy, but it's so grimy, man. That's a grimy
Grimy.
thing. When it comes to people with money, people will step on you faster than a
Yeah,
speeding
the
bullet.
money and because the money and then in the politics and so much stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And you have that internal fight with yourself when you go to bed at night or something. You have that it's like you talking to yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. People don't realize how difficult it is, especially you're in a different country.
Of course.
You know.
And the eating come with it when you have a bad 1 or 2 bad games.
Yeah.
Man, I was just lucky that most of the times I never used to buy the newspaper, so that was great. So I didn't really understand what he's saying. So when I do 1 or 2 bad game, I could care less. I don't know what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? But
it's true.
It's nasty. It's a nasty world that a lot of people don't know about. But it only fuels you to become great because it only gives you that extra incentives for you to really go out there and do your best. And that's the beauty about it. You know, you can channel that energy into a positive energy.
That's true.
So that's a smart snippet, man. I know we keep saying that, man, but we keep talking. Okay, for real, take us up.
All right. Everybody have a good night, man. Thank you guys once again for tuning in, supporting Rory, Costello. If you guys want a copy of his book, he told me to give you guys the email. So I will give you guys the email. You guys can contact me. Next episode, when we have Keith Mountain Francis on, I will definitely post the email, so everybody could see it. Much love to him. Much love to Hayden for stopping by, blessing us with a good 10, 15, 20 minutes. Everybody have a good night. Everybody be safe. We see you guys Sunday. Our thanks for always supporting the Elite Podcast. We doing big things for the VI and pay respect to all the different people them from the Virgin Islands. So much love to everybody. Everybody be safe. Good night. Love to all. Always remember, don't be a hater. Do not be a hater. Spread love, not hate. Don't be a hater. Stop hating on LeBron.
That's right. Good night to everybody. Good night to myself.
Good night.
Love you
guys. Good night,
guys.
Sharon. Yeah, love you guys. Good night, Sharon Lee. Good night. Good night. Love to everybody.
Day all night. Good night to you, Sharon. And take care.